in the unit. I've been the best in my unit for a couple of years. So, and especially with someone, of course, I see something here about challenges. Of course, challenges, every profession has challenges. My challenge is not only that of the operational aspects of the profession, but you can also know that someone coming from Africa, you know what it means. You have to face the challenge of integrating, into this society, knowing how things work, adapting to the society, and of course, doing what you are expected to do. I hope I still have some time. Is there anyone who is indicating or telling me when I'm supposed to stop? Because I don't want to go beyond my time. Okay. So, they say, what educational pathways or certification will position an individual for this career? Well, I will not give you any particular qualification. All I will say is, if you have the opportunity to study, and study, there is never an end to learning or an end to studying. So at any level that you find yourself, any level of education that you have, you can always be part of this career. And of course, the prospects I have is that one day I also want to be an overall boss in one of the units in this career. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Let's put our heads together. Remember, I told you he enforces the law. Clap now. Please clap very well, because someone has told you what they do. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. The next speaker we have today is Mr. Raymond Umo, and he's someone who has a lot of the professions you're going to hear from. They require training, but this is someone that does the training. So it's not just someone working in the industry, but someone that ensures that quality professional gets put out there to do the job that they've been sent to do. So let's put our hands together as welcome Mr. Raymond. Please, let's clap. Let's clap. You only bring him out so you're talking about this industry. He's normally very reserved. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. My name is Raymond Umo. I am the CEO and president of Greenbelt Career Institute, where we trained certified nursing assistants, geriatric nursing assistants, certified medication technicians. We do CPR and first aid. We are trying to add licensed practical nurse training, but the Board of Nursing is proving very difficult to give us approval for that. But we're still trying, so we don't give up. We also have a nursing agency. So not only do we train for the certification, we also have a branch agency that also offers jobs. We place our students in nursing homes and agencies that need CNAs and GNAs and CMTs and all that. Like she said, we have several businesses. So we also have a driving school. And that came about because we realized that, okay. I'll just, we started a driving school when we realized that a lot of our CNA students, right after this training, they go next door for driving classes. So we said, we could be offering driving lessons to our students even at a cheaper rate. So we have that as well. We also have tax preparation services where we do income tax preparation. We also assist with tax ID application. One of the things that we see is that a lot of new arrivals from home who do not qualify for a social security number, we assist them to apply for a tax ID number. The one good thing we have in Maryland compared to other states in the country is that Maryland will allow you with a tax ID number to have a driver's license and to take this certification and be licensed with a tax ID number. Other states insist that you must have a social security number before you can be certified. So we are glad that our state is more immigrant friendly than other states. So we have two locations, one in Silver Spring. Our main office is in Greenbelt, and our branch office in Silver Spring. I'm going to go old school and just go by my paper here. So I do have a background in nursing. I did nursing back in the 90s. Then in 2000, I left nursing, went into business. During the real estate boom, I was a big-time real estate investor from 2000 until the market crashed in 2009. And I'm going to tell the continuation of that story as we go ahead. So entrepreneurship, what is entrepreneurship? We know it's owning your own business, but the definition of entrepreneurship is setting up a business or businesses, taking on financial risk with the hope of making profit. So it's not easy to be a business owner, especially at the beginning. Most businesses do not succeed. But you have to persevere, work hard, do your homework, and with God's grace, your business will succeed. So what influenced me to open a business? Interestingly, following a law enforcement officer, my father was a law enforcement officer, Nigerian version. As you know, it is a very noble job, but they are not well paid. They deserve more pay than they're currently getting. Am I wrong, sir? Yes. And unfortunately, you cannot do what you carry here. My dad used to do what you carry and get some, I don't want to call it bribe, but you understand what I mean. So our father was the law enforcement officer. Our mother was a businesswoman. She would travel to Lagos, to Onitsha, to Aba, buy and sell several, types of goods. So when we're having family discussions, she'll always tell us how one of her business trips, she makes more money than our father makes in a year. And we're like, really? Okay. But you can be comfortable with your career, with your position, with your paycheck, and there is nothing wrong with that. But we always kind of took our mother's perspective that in order to be wealthy, we needed to have multiple sources of income, build our business, position ourselves for opportunities, financial opportunities. And I've been on both sides. I was a nurse working paycheck to paycheck, even with good hourly rates, $50 an hour, $100, $120, $120,000 a year position. But that was my limit. But on the nursing entrepreneurship aspect of it, running a training school with a nursing agency, the potential is unlimited. I'm not limited to that salary anymore. I have colleagues that are millionaires who have got $1 million contracts as running an agency, and I hope to be like them soon. Amen. Yes. So that's what influenced me. Well, considerations for starting a business, not easy. You have to think about the capital, think about your competition, think about your location, think about all the regulatory requirements of that business. For example, the nursing training business, before you even put in the application for it, you must get a building, a facility, a space that will contain the students and pay for it, get all the necessary requirements before even putting in the application, get policy and procedures. Then there will be an inspection by the Board of Education, there will be an inspection by Board of Nursing. Then you have to go in for presentation and, hopefully get approved. I have been warned that I have a few minutes left. So let me kind of go to challenges and how God has played a role in my business success. So like I said earlier, in 2009, I lost everything from the real estate business. It was a boom, then there was a big crash. At the same time, I was going through divorce in 2009, so I lost everything. But I didn't give up. I went back to the nursing job, and with God's help, I kept working hard to restart a business, a different kind. And by God's grace, I'm thankful that I believe to His honor that the business I have now is even more successful than what I had before, even after losing everything and starting from scratch. Amen? So if anyone have a question, I can take it, or So I encourage you to visit us. We have a stand, visit our school. We also do consulting if you want to open a business. Depending on the type of business, we also consult. We can assist with writing policies. If you want to open a nursing agency, we have those policies we can assist you with. And one thing that we do with a lot of our students, because they are new arrivals, we also serve as big brothers to them, because we've been through what they're about to go through. We also did CNA training way back when, before we moved up from there. There's a lot of opportunities in nursing, all the way to a nurse practitioner. So come see us. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together for Mr. Raymond. Let's keep clapping. And just so you're aware, all our speakers, majority of them have a stand outside. So you will still get time to spend one-on-one with them. At this point, let's move along real quickly, because we know regardless of the career opportunities you have, understanding how to use the different social media platforms, like LinkedIn, is very helpful, because you can have great skill set, but you're not marketable because you're not putting out the right information. So let's put our hands together as we welcome Miss Lido. Let's keep clapping. Let's keep clapping as she comes. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so I have slides. I'm just waiting for them to be pulled up. Okay, should I just start? Okay. All right, sure. So hello, everyone. My name is Ledo Wilene. I'm a rising senior at Drexel University, studying computing and security technology with a minor in human-computer interaction. I'm currently a product management intern at Intuit, previously intern at JP Morgan as well. and I am a women in tech scholar at Google, Microsoft, Adobe, VMware, and Palantir. So I'm also an international student from Nigeria, so let me also put that. So coming to, before I jump into my presentation, I think it's important to know where my passion for LinkedIn came from, or just like when it comes to networking and connecting with students and professionals. So growing up, I've always been really shy. My sister here can tell you that. I really didn't know how to interact with people. But then, starting college, I realized that information is powerful, and I couldn't just, continue being this shy person who was always afraid to go to classes or even just like talk to my professors. So I had a friend who had introduced me to LinkedIn. And I know for many people, LinkedIn is just like this, it's just a platform to find jobs and internships, and that's true. However, for me, I saw LinkedIn through a different lens. LinkedIn for me was a way to document my journey as a student, as a woman in tech, and as a Black female as well. So my presentation today, I'm going to be talking you through, I'm going to take it in two different parts. First of all, how to enhance your profile, because I think before you even start like connect and reach out, it's so important to have a very robust and well-built profile. And then the second part will be how to utilize the tools that exist on LinkedIn to, eventually land you that dream job internship or just to build your network. So I'll take you to the next slide. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, yeah, so this is just everything I said. Okay, yes, so part one, enhancing your LinkedIn profile. So there are about 610 million members on LinkedIn. And to stand out, you need to pay attention to how you're building your profile. So in this session, this first part, I'll just talk you through like those key things to keep in mind if you have a LinkedIn account, or if you're about to make one, or if you do have one and you need to improve it even more. So, okay, why? Users with complete profiles are 40 times more likely to receive opportunities through LinkedIn. So imagine, let's say you are interested in, like nursing roles. However, you don't have your education filled out, you don't have your experience section filled out, you're missing out on so many opportunities just because your profile is not as robust. So what makes a great profile? There are 6 things that I think, and there's so many more things on one's profile as well, but I think these 6 things are the things to keep in mind. The first is your profile picture. It needs to be personable, first impressions matter. I've seen profile pictures where, maybe you can tell like they're at a party, they have like red eyes, like it's just, it's not professional. So your profile picture really matters. The second thing is your banner. Your banner is, think of it like a cover background. I've seen the best profiles have banners that reflect what they're into. So for example, I have my picture, my banner could probably be something that shows like my keywords, like I'm a marketing enthusiast or I am a photographer or something, right? Like you want to use the banner to be able to speak about your interests. And then the headline. The headline is a section to, and I have some screenshots, so I'll walk you through where you can find these things, but the headline is basically where you want to have like your keywords. This is not a place to have any story, it's just the key things that define you. So for example, for me, I might say product enthusiast because I love product management. I can say a marketing enthusiast because maybe I'm into marketing. So these are, think of the headline like your catchphrase. When someone goes into your profile, that's how they're able to just tell who you are, what you're interested in, and if you're looking to opportunities as well. The summary is where you get to tell your story. So again, everything has just been keywords, pictures, but still, I don't really know who you are. So in the summary is where I'll probably tell people about how I got into tech, what my interests are, what I do on the side, what my hobbies are, and then maybe also have an email for anyone to contact me. The next is media. This is optional, but I think it's also really important, especially if you're, for example, a product designer that you need a portfolio. You want to be able to share links, you want to be able to reference like your website to be able to see the work that you've done. And then lastly, the experience. This is basically an extension of your resume. I always say everything on your resume should be on your LinkedIn and even much more. So with first impressions, I think it's so important to ask yourself, what do I want people to think of me from their first glance at my profile? I think if more people ask themselves these questions, they'll put a lot more thought into how they're building their LinkedIn profile. Your profile speaks volumes about you before you even get a chance to speak for yourself. So imagine a recruiter is coming on your LinkedIn profile. You've never said hi to them. They've never said hi to you. But just from your LinkedIn profile, you're already giving someone an impression about you. In other words, set your profile up the way you want to be addressed. So kind of going in depth into the summary again, this is where you get to go in depth about your banner, what you have in your banner, what you have in your headline, and basically tell your story even more. You can talk about how you developed an interest in your current field, what experience you have, leadership, opportunities you have on campus. Also, sorry, some of these things are from a student perspective, but I can say that it also applies to you if you're a professional. So yeah, don't think this has to just be things related to school. And then something else I really encourage people to add to their summary as well is your skills, right? So for example, I'm a software engineer and I want to add all the programming languages I'm familiar with. I want to add all the technologies, all the tools that I've used. And that's because at times recruiters don't always get a chance to look at your resume. So you want your skills section in your summary because at least it's very visible to them. I kind of encourage people to keep the length of your summary between 3 to 5 paragraphs. Again, it's not meant to be an essay, so don't go overboard. Just keep it sweet, keep it short, but also keep it very well detailed. So this is an example of a friend of mine. This is her about section. This is a summary section, and you can clearly see how she, spends the first paragraph talking about who she is. Right? She's an experienced IT professional. She talks about like her education. She's graduated. She talks about her extracurricular activities, what she did at the University of Georgia, Georgia State University, sorry. And then she talks about what she's currently doing at NCR as a project manager. And then at the end, you see the skills section. She broke it down to technical and non-technical skills. So I really think this is such a good example of how a summary should be like. Feel free to take a picture, or if you have, or whatever would help you remember. So this is a really good format to follow. Again, you can customize it. This is not a blueprint, but I think it's a really good template to follow when you think about creating your summary. All right. So in the experience section, like as I was saying, this is where you basically talk about the exposure you have in the current field that you're in, right? So for me, I keep my experience not just to like internships or I also include like leadership positions I've done, hackathons, boot camps, anything at all that is related to my degree or my interests. So aside, really loving product management and tech, I also really love all things diversity and inclusion. So I talk about all the extracurricular events I've done to support DEI at my university and my other organizations as well. So I have this example from another colleague, and this is a really good way to think about your experience, right? So she doesn't just have the title, like the role, right, the company. She also has different bullet points explaining what she did as a software development intern at State Farm. You can see some key things to keep in mind here is that she is passionate. She ensured that she showed her value and the impact that she made at that internship. So I would say don't make your experience section just bullet points or like a job description. Ensure that it's showing the impact that you made at that internship or that job. I see that I have a few minutes left. Okay, I'm just going to rush through this really quickly. This is part 2, and that this has to do with engaging on LinkedIn. So let's say you've built your profile, it's very robust, but now you actually want to start connecting to people to get those opportunities that you want. Just gonna skip through. So one thing I would say is personalized connection requests. I personally don't like it when people just connect with me on LinkedIn without telling me why they want to connect. So I think it's 300 characters, but those 300 characters are a really good way to tell people what you're interested in and why you want to connect with them. So here I have an example. I reached out to this girl called Umai. I tell her where I met her from. I tell her why I want to connect because I was interested in a PwC cybersecurity internship. So again, it's really short, really sweet, and then I just sign with my name. So now when we connect, she knows why I'm connecting with her. I'm not just getting lost in her connection inbox. And again, not many people actually send personalized connection requests, so this is one way to stand out. So again, this is also a good template to use with connection requests. You can just say hi, the person's name, tell them where you met them from. Maybe it's you connecting with me after this event and telling me, oh, I met you at the Tune Up 3.0 event, and then give a reason for why you want to connect. Okay, so I'll just go through this really quickly. Do's and don'ts when it comes to connecting. Make sure you personalize your requests. Make sure you do your research about the person. Make sure you are clear and concise. Don't ask for a job right away. That's I've seen many people do that, and I think it's such it's a bit too forward. Don't be robotic or scripted, and don't forget to personalize that connection. With the alumni tool, you're able to leverage existing people who have been at your university, and sometimes just the fact that you attended the same university is a good way to just start that conversation. So be specific in what you're asking for. Make sure you send them a message. Don't connect to every alumni. You don't need to do that. And don't send a scripted message. And then with informational interviews, think of informational interviews as 15 to 30-minute chats to talk to people, whether that's a recruiter or a professional. For me, I make sure that I'm very respectful of their time. I have my questions ready. So let's say I'm talking to a VP of marketing at Visa. I ensure that I know their background. I know, I'm looking at their career trajectory. I'm asking specific questions. Don't be late to the call. Don't interrogate them. And if your questions can be answered via email or via a LinkedIn message, don't insist on having a call. Okay, so this is just creating content. This is just, for times when, for me personally, like I mentioned, LinkedIn for me was a way to share my journey. Oftentimes people ask me, oh, what should I talk about? And I say, well, talk about conferences you've attended, talk about your travel experiences, talk about your passions and interests, talk about your personal project. And for me, talk about your rejections. I think sometimes LinkedIn can be such a toxic platform because everyone is sharing, oh, I just got this new job, I just got this new internship, but people don't actually talk about the rejections or their not so great moments in their job search. So I had this example of Vicky. Vicky was a friend who actually lost her internship at Google last year due to the pandemic. She reached out and people actually supported her, and she eventually landed an internship at DoorDash. So this is just an example of being vulnerable, letting people what you need, telling people how you need help, and you'll actually be surprised to see how many people are actually committed to helping you. I think the LinkedIn platform, for me, I've had more people being willing to have a call with me or help me in my career than people actually turn me down or even reject me. That's it. Okay, so if I were to summarize everything, especially with the second part of connecting with people, is to get to know people for who they are and not what they can do for you. I think many times you hear people just coming to ask you for a job right away. They want to just, I'll say like take advantage, but for me, I've seen that the best way to keep those connections, even after, even if that person can help me, is to be intentional about getting to know them for who they are and not just what they can do for me. So yeah, that's the end of my presentation. That's my email and that's my LinkedIn. So feel free to connect, reach out, and yeah, thank you.
I don't even know where to start now. She's basically told you everything, but in a nutshell, I'm just going to talk about project management. And for me personally, project management is a passion of mine. It's not just for the money, you know. I've been doing this now for close to 18 years. Don't mind the look. It's because it's a passion of mine, and I started out, you know, quite young, you know, doing customer service, helping, you know, lead small teams, you know, with, okay, thank you. You know, leading small teams, and I just realized that I was just leading those, you know, small teams. I was making an impact, you know, with reports, updates, you know, process management, you know, people management, and I just realized that, you know, I had a passion for project management at that point, and I said, you know what, I'm going to look into this. And we're talking about, you know, over 20 years ago now. So I said, okay, what is project management? Is there something even called project management? And with all my digging and all my research, I found out that project management was actually, you know, a field that you can actually, you know, that was actually very lucrative. So at that point, I decided to pursue my passion for project management. So today, I'm just going to be talking about project management, who can become a project manager, what it entails, getting certified, the administrative body that actually is responsible for the certifications, and, you know, how you can get there. Because trust me, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I think it starts with you. It starts with your passion. It starts with your interest. It starts with you just being encouraged to get there. And as long as you have the right mindset, honestly, you can do it. And believe me, we get paid very well. So let me add that. So that's my name. Please feel free to look me up on LinkedIn if you want to connect after the session. I'll be more than happy to connect with you. The young lady that talked about LinkedIn, I cannot even emphasize her points. The last 5 jobs I've done were actually via LinkedIn. I'd never even applied to reach out to me, so that's just how powerful LinkedIn is. So this is a bit of, just a bit of my certifications that I listed. I'm an MBA. I went to University of Maryland. Any Marylanders in the house? No? Okay, all right. And I have my PMP. I'm a PMP certified project manager. I have my CSP, CSM, Skilled Agilist. I'm also an Agile coach. And there are a few other certifications that I didn't list on there. So that's just me. That's my name, if you want to connect with me. So this is just a brief introduction of project management. So who here, I'm going to make this a little interactive. Who here has heard about the PMP certification? Okay, it looks like a lot of, you know, quite a lot of people have heard about it. Believe me, it's one of the most lucrative, highly coveted certifications out there for technical and non-technical people, okay? It's globally recognized anywhere in the world. As long as you have that certification, you can actually utilize that certification anywhere in the world, okay? And you can actually use it to manage technical and non-technical projects, okay? Now, back in the day when PMI, which is the body that administers the PMP certification, back in the day when they were offering the certs, it was strictly just managing waterfall projects, something that we call waterfall, where you're just managing, you know, gathering all your requirements at first and understanding what the client wants, you know, and then from there, getting someone to actually, you know, create the product, test it, and then, you know, deploy to, you know, for the end users to use. And they realized that a lot of people, you know, in the last, 10 years, in the last 10 years, I would say, started shying away from the typical project management process. Now, there's something called Agile. Has anyone here heard the term Agile? Agile? So now, PMI has now adopted the Agile process, believe it or not, because they know that that's the way forward. Okay, so now PMP, you know, covers, you know, typical waterfall, Agile, and also a hybrid. A lot of people say, oh, you know, when Agile shop, you know, all we do is Agile. I have never been in a company where everything is Agile. It's usually a combination of both. So again, just be open, you know, when it comes to getting a job as a project manager, and getting to understand the organization and, you know, how they work. Okay? Now, the PMP certification supercharges careers for project managers across industries. Believe me, when you put that certification on your resume, you don't even have to apply for jobs. Just put it on your resume, put it on all the job boards, LinkedIn. Your phone would ring at least 10 times a day. No joke. True story. I got my MBA, and after I got my MBA, I thought, okay, I have an MBA now, let's go make this money, right? So, of course, I updated my resume, put it on Monster, Career Builder. I didn't get a single phone call for like, what, 3 weeks? And I said, okay, something is wrong, because I specialize in project management. So I said, okay, I did, some digging, reflecting, contacted some colleagues, and they were like, oh yeah, we went further and got our PMP certification. I said, really? Why would you get your PMP certification when we have our MBA and specialize in project management from University of Maryland, right? Why would you? And they said, you know what, this is America. Certification is king. I heard that and I said, okay. Decided to take a boot camp course, did the certification, I passed it on the first attempt, thank God. And less than 2 weeks, I got my first offer. That was the first certification I ever got. I had the MBA, and then I had the COMMA and the PMP, and that changed my life. So this is just to let you know how important certifications are. Okay. Okay. So this is okay. So the next step, the next slide is telling us that by 2027, this is just 2021. Okay. We're going to need to fill nearly 2.2 million new project management jobs just here in the US. That's how lucrative and highly coveted this field is. There's so many jobs. I don't care what industry you are. If you're a cleaner, you're a janitor, you're a babysitter, I don't care, you're a construction worker, any project that you're working on, whatever effort you're leading, you need a project manager. Believe me, even in your personal lives, you may not even realize it. You're managing something, your budget, your finances, the scope of your work, your family, your kids, okay? You're actually applying some form, some part of project management. So in other words, we're all project managers in some shape or form. That's for you to know that you're just not getting paid for it, but you're just doing it, okay? So that just tells you that's how lucrative this field is. Okay, there's a very, very high demand for project management, and people, it's a body of people that came together to create this organization. So if they know that you've been in the field for a while, they may contact you, they want you to join the board, contribute in getting this organization to be the best that it can be based on your input. So it's not just one person behind the scenes making the PMI or the PMP certification lucrative, it's a body of people. And that's how valuable, the contributions of PMPs are in the field. Okay? So project managers are highly skilled in what? Managing people, right? Managing, leading people. When people ask me, what do you do? What is your main role? I tell them I'm a servant leader. That's the first thing I say. And no joke, the last 3 jobs I've had, they told me afterwards with the feedback that, the only reason why we hired you was because you led with saying you were a servant leader. They don't want nobody to come and manage people. They expect you to come and support your team. You should be the coach, the support for your team. So even though we call ourselves project managers, we're actually servant leaders, okay? So our goal is basically to, lead and coach our teams to success, helping re-engineer and reinforce the process, within the organization for everything, to work well together and for people to work collaboratively to get that process or product to meet the end goal. And then with the business environment, we're always looking for ways to improve our business environment, to improve our work, to improve the collaboration amongst team members, to just, from executives to the team members. Project managers constantly look for ways to improve. Okay? These are some benefits of the PMP certification. Okay, the benefit, once you're certified, it just tells the recruiter, the hiring manager, whoever, that you have mastered the art of project management, that you've validated, you've gotten that certification to validate your skills, that yes, you're up to the task in being a successful project manager. Okay? Again, these are the 3 approaches: the waterfall, predictive, agile, and then the hybrid. Okay? Why PMP? Like, why should you, I know I've kind of sold PMP to you already, but why again should we go into, why should you be a PMP? Why the PMP certification? Okay, PMP adds value. I just give you an example, a personal example that happened to me after I graduated, right? When I got the certificate, I didn't get that 6-figure salary job till I got my PMP. And, they're saying as of today, as of this year, 2021, CIO Magazine ranked the PMP as the top project management certification in North America because it demonstrates that you have the specific skills that employers seek, dedicated to excellence, right? To perform at the highest level. So meaning, once you have once you have the certification, you don't need to sell yourself. That cert sells you. Okay, once you have that. So that's what that says. Okay? And then PMP delivers benefits. As a PMP, I mean, as long as you can do the work, you speak to your experience. No PMP should be earning less than $140,000 a year. At this point, really. And that's not from me. That's what PMI says, and I actually agree with them. Okay? PMP proves that you work smarter. It shows that you have the skills to drive business results and increase your organization's impact, okay, in the office and around the world. Okay, how to get your PMP. So how? I know you're like, okay, I want to make this money, I want to be involved. How do we do this? Okay, that's it. Now, before you apply, you have to make sure that you meet the sets of requirements. So because the PMP certification is highly coveted now, they're different now. They're requiring that you have certain levels of experience, to meet the requirement to get to apply for the certification. So you just can't. No one can off the street can just go and apply for it. So they're saying if you have a 4-year degree, you have 13 months leading projects, and believe me, everybody here, that right there, everybody has led a project, subconsciously or, or consciously. 35 hours of project management education, training, or the CAPM certification. So they're bootcamp courses that, people offer, okay, to get you ready for your certification. So some of them are a couple of days, some of them are 3 days. When I did mine, it was a 3-day boot camp, and I was like, can I learn anything in 3 days? But believe me, you will learn a lot, in those hours. So you can actually utilize those hours, when filling out your form, okay? Or if you don't have a 4-year degree, if you have a high school diploma or an associate's degree, you can use that. 60 months of leading projects and 35 hours, educational hours. So even though it seems like, well, I'm not sure that I have this, but believe me, once you're done with your research and reflecting on your past experiences, you would realize that, this is not far-fetched. And the only thing that, you may not have right now is the 35 hours, and you can get that through the boot camp again, okay, if you choose to get that, attend a training or boot camp. So another way that you can do this, now, I know a lot of people are like, okay, PMP, how, this boot camp, like, I don't even know where to start. I have a stand outside, if you want to talk to me, connect with me, right after the session, I'll be more than happy, to talk to you about your journey. I actually coach Scrum Masters to become certified and then, prep them so you can use those hours, actually, if you need to apply. But at the same time, if you just want to learn, what are the different, you want to know about the challenges, the wins. Everything is not all gravy in project management, believe me, because it's like babysitting grown people, okay? So, you're talking about a team of people. You have to ensure that, they understand what they're doing. Everyone works well together. It's like babysitting sometimes, but, it's, I have a passion for it. I enjoy it. I don't know that I would do anything else, honestly. And the fact that I know that my role is highly coveted, it's globally recognized, I don't know that I would do anything else, so. That's it for me. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Afterwards? Okay. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Coming to a career fair is not just knowing this area, we make a lot of money. And I saw my sister Kenny said that 6 figure. One man in the back, he just gish. He just thought of it now. Plot of land in Umaya like this. Just I told somebody at the back, Brother Inka, didn't I tell you? I said, let me go and do this PMPO. It's not a bad thing to have on the side, See everybody saying yes. Sister Kenny, don't come again. All the doctors and nurses have left their industry. Everybody now wants to be a PMP person. Please don't come again. You have stolen all the profession. But at this point, we want to welcome Mr. Dayo Ojo, who's going to come and give a broad overview really about your career planning and everything you need to know. Let's put a
organizers. Individuals' journey, right? The reason why this is important is, yes, you can do it and make money, but you might not even start out making money, right? You might not start out making money, but you understand that your career is a journey. How many of you have had 2 to 3 different jobs in the lifespan of your career? Maybe you worked at McDonald's and then you became an accountant and then you're now a small business owner. So your career is a journey. And the reason why this is very important is when you think of something as a journey, usually it's not as a crossfly. It's not A to B, meaning that you might have to make some exits and some detours, right? So your career is not going to be straight path. So it's very important for you to know that your career is a journey. The second thing is that your career is a field of pursuit of consecutive progressive achievements. All right. So what that means is your career should push you forward. Now, it doesn't have to be 10 steps forward. It doesn't have to be 20 steps forward, but you need to be making incremental progress. All right? Incremental progress. That's what defines your career. So maybe you're going from an associate to a senior associate to an experienced associate to a manager, whatever it is. Or maybe you're going from an apprentice to a high-level apprentice, whatever it is. Your career should be moving you forward. And so what we're going to be talking about today is how do you position yourself for progressive growth in your career? All right. Are you enjoying this so far? Is this making sense? All right, great. And so the next thing, why pursue a career? I think I've heard 2 things. For a living, because you can't just sit idle, right? You need to make money. What else? Why pursue a career? Interest, passion. Awesome, passion. I like that. So the question I want to ask before we go forward is, I must always be happy in my career. Any career that does not make me happy is not my career. If you believe that, raise your hand. If you believe, you raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. If you don't believe this, raise your hand. You have to raise. You can't be in the middle. All right. You can't be in the middle. If you don't believe this, raise your hand.
When we say happy, you're going to have ebbs and flows, right? You got to be happy at some point.
Yeah.
Less happy, but
At some point.
overall, you should definitely be happy.
Overall, you should definitely be happy. I agree with that. Right? Happiness is the wrong measure in life. All right? There are a lot of things that are purposeful but don't make you happy. All right? And so when you judge your career or the line of work that you are by the fact that am I happy or am I not happy, and then you're making the wrong, you have the wrong measures. All right? So there should be other things that you define your career by. And so why pursue a career? It's purpose. Right? Is there a reason why I'm doing this? Does this help someone? Right? Does this help someone? So last year, for example, over the course of the year, I'd done some work for a number of organizations where we were building a solution for vaccine management. And I was working overtime. I was working long hours, 16-hour days, 18-hour days. But at the back of my mind, I didn't like those hours, but I knew that I was helping to solve a problem. Right? It was a problem that plagued our nation. I also did something for PPP loan applications, for example. And while I was doing the work, it took long hours, but I knew that this is making a change in someone else's life. So I'm not happy about it, but I know that I'm pursuing this because there's a purpose for it. The second thing over there is impact, meaning, right? Is there a reason why I'm doing this? Someone being impacted. You know, we heard about how much a PMP can make, but are you going in there to go make 140,000? Or are you going there to help organizations do better? All right? To make yourself, a valuable asset to other people. And so there has to be meaning, there has to be impact. And the last thing is fulfillment. Your career should bring fulfillment. Fulfillment is very different from happiness. Fulfillment is very different from happiness. All right, so what I really want to focus today in, I know we have time. Please, organizers, let me know I'm doing on time. I want to talk today about career enablers and career differentiators. All right? What are enablers? They're things that help you do something, right? My car is an enabler. It takes me from point A to point B, right? This suit is an enabler because it shields me. But then there are other things called differentiators, meaning that all of us here, right, can wear the same suit, but Brother Charles' suit, stands out even more. That's a differentiator, right? So for your organization, there's probably like 300 people, 400 people, 5,000 people if you work with large organizations. Now, what are those things that put you in the game, and then what are those things that differentiate you? All right? So that's what we want to talk about, because I noticed that even in the Nigerian, I don't want to call it a race thing, but I've noticed that in the African community, a lot of us are very vibrant outside of our career. So maybe in church, they know you as a pastor or a deacon or head of a unit. But then at your work, no one knows your name. All right? In your industry, no one knows you. Right? That's not good enough. Right? That's not good enough. So how do we start to step up to a place where we can be referenced as, professionals that other people can point to? And that's exactly what we want to talk about here. So I'll start with enablers, and I'm moving through this very quickly, but I'm hoping that you're taking notes and you're learning from this. Is this making sense to you so far? All right. So the first thing is confidence. Confidence is the most important enabler that you're going to have in your career as a professional. All right? Confidence is the most important thing. A lot of people know something. I'll go back here. They know what they want, they know what they do, but they don't have the confidence. All right? Confidence gets you almost 40% there, right? You meet someone and they're asking you, what do you do for a living? And you really cannot say it. You're not really confident about it. Maybe you feel like, well, I'm in nursing, and you feel like there's like 1 billion nurses in the United States. And because of that, you don't feel confident saying it. Or someone asks you a question, you're not put together enough to answer that. The first thing you're going to have to build in your career as an enabler. Now, notice, this is just an enabler. Confidence doesn't really set you apart because there are a lot of confident people, but you need it to get started. All right? And so you need to be very confident. How do you build confidence? There's several ways. Number one, know who you are. That's the first thing. You've got to know who you are. Now, these things are going to make sense to you as we go on here. Know who you are as a person. All right. The second thing is know what you do. We've heard people come talk about what they do in their different fields. You should be able to speak to what you do. Maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're an accountant, you're an IT professional, or whatever it is, you're a nurse, you're in the medical field. Be able to articulate what you do, know it in and out. All right, that's the second thing. The third is know what to say. Always have a 1 to 2 minute explanation of what you do, because you never know when the next opportunity comes, right? So if I ask you, for example, what do you do? Maybe I've seen you and I feel like I'm drawn to this person. I want to work with them, but I don't know what the core competencies are, what the skills are, right? So always be prepared to know exactly what to say. Don't ramble around. Someone asks you what you do, and then you spend 10 minutes and still the person is lost. Know exactly what to say. And the last thing there is know how to say it, and then be honest, right? Honesty is very key. Like if I ask you and you're telling me that you have 25 years of experience, but I know you're only 32 years old, right? You lost credibility immediately. So be very honest about it. It boosts your confidence. That way you don't have to lie the next time, right? Those things boost your confidence. So know what to say and be honest. Now, the second thing is visibility. Visibility. A lot of us work in organizations, people don't even know who we are. All right? People don't know, you're not visible. You're doing a lot of work, right? You're burning the midnight candle, you're staying up late to finish your deliverables, but no one knows you. Maybe your boss, your immediate boss knows you, but no one knows you, right? No one knows what you're about. They just see you come into the office. You don't relate with anyone. You need to be visible. Whether as a business person, as a professional, you need to be visible. Right? So visibility is going to be very key in your career. People need to know who you are. People need to know what you do. All right? People need to know what you do. How many of you have met at least 5 people today? At least 5, and you know exactly what they do. All right, 4, 3. How many of you haven't talked to anyone? All right. And so you need to be visible. People need to know who you are. Not because you are all around doing activities, but people need to know what your core competencies are, so that when they look for something, they can reach out to you. All right? Maybe you're a business owner, you're an IT professional, and then someone says, oh, I know this person does that. You need to be visible. In your office, when they have opportunities to dish out to people, you should be the first person who is on their mind. All right? And that's why, sometimes it's a racial thing sometimes, because you find out that, the Caucasian or the white guys, or the white people rather, they talk more. They're able to elevate or make big what they do. It might be very small. All right. I tell a joke. When I was starting out in my career, I used to work with this guy. Went to an Ivy League school, and we worked on Excel. Right. My profession as a management consultant, we do a lot of Excel modeling and things like that. And this guy would type. You know how you collect records in an Excel sheet? You just kind of type things out. And so when he's reporting it in the morning, he says, oh, I pulled the records together. And you feel like he did something big. All he did was type something in. Right? And so he is saying that to build his brand, and he's making what he's doing big enough so that people can recognize it. That's what you have to do. And that's how opportunities chase you. So how do you build your visibility? All right? Creating visibility for yourself is show and tell your story to the people that matter. Right? You identify the people that matter in your organization or in your line of business or in your field. Go talk to them. Say, this is what I do. Right? This is who I am. I've been in this field now for 5 years. I'm looking to grow my professional network. I'd like to have you as a network. Or maybe it's your boss's boss. Don't be scared. Right? Some people see their CEOs and all they want to do is take a photo. All right? Or all they want to do is get an autograph, or talk about things that don't really matter. Tell them about who you are and what you do. All right? Make it a point to do that. It takes 5 to 7 impressions to create it takes 5 to 7 impressions to create a lasting impression. All right? 5 to 7 impressions. The reason for that is you need to be consistent in doing that. So if I see Vera Charles today, Vera Charles looks GQ, right? He dressed very well, right? I have that in my mind, but it takes him doing that 3 more times before he registers to me that he is a fashion icon. Does that make sense to you? So you have to keep doing that. You have to keep being visible in people's. The fact that you did it once, some people do it once and they keep celebrating. Oh yes, I spoke to my CEO today. No, do it again. Set up a follow-up meeting. Continue to be visible. All right. Are we learning something? Is this useful for you? Tell me if it's not useful. I'll step away. All right. The third thing is innovation and problem solving. Everyone loves a problem solver. Every single person. How many of you have those people that you call to if you have any problem? You just know, even if you know they can't do it, you know they can lead you to someone who can do it. Be a problem solver. Wherever it is you are, even here in church, right? Be that person that people go meet. It's like, oh, I need to do this. Do you know who I can talk to? Do you know how I can go about this? That's going to help you a lot in your career, because everyone is looking for a helping hand. You know, every single person is looking for answers. The president of the United States is looking for answers. The CEO of your office, your immediate boss, even your colleagues are looking for a problem solver. So be that person that they go to say, help us solve this, or help us find a solution to this. Be a problem solver. Think of innovative ways that people can do things better. It's going to really help you grow very fast in your career. Again, your career is a journey. You know, you might not move from A to Z, but you can move from A to D and D to F, things like that. All right? So be a problem solver. How can you be a problem solver? It starts by asking the right questions. Asking the right questions. You see this screen right here. The color is not red, it's kind of purple. Ask first, why is this the case? Right? What can we do to make this better? You start being innovative by asking the right question. The next is to develop and master your unique problem-solving process. There's a unique process that's unique to you, right? Maybe you work better when you're taking a walk or running or at the gym, or, you know, whatever it is. Find a time where you're most productive and can think about unique ideas. And then whenever you have a problem, go do that thing, right? And then try to see if you come up with innovative ideas. How many of us sing like a world star when we're in the shower? All right. And then you step out and you find out that, oh, my voice is so bad. But I guess the point of it is, find that spot where you're very innovative. Find it. And just think about creating solutions. I mean, I know at least I can count like 2 to 3 people, you know, that when I have something in my mind and I'm trying to figure it out, I call them. And I know when to call them, actually, because I know, okay, if I call this person around this time, they're probably not as productive. But if I call them around this time and I sit with them, we'll come up with some results. So be a problem solver. Find what works for you. Implement it and test the process over and over again. Don't be someone who works based on, guesses. Or don't be a fluke, right? So someone gives you an assignment, you do it well, and you assume that it's always going to work that way. No, master that act. Be a committed and mastered problem solver, all right? The next thing is consistency. I think I mentioned this a little bit. Now, remember, all these things that I've talked about are things that just get you in the game. They don't necessarily set you apart because every other person is doing it, right? Like they say in the world, they say everyone and their mom is doing it. All right, so everyone and their mom is confident, they're visible, they're problem solvers, they're consistent. So the last thing is be consistent, right? Don't be that person who delivers good job today and then tomorrow you're kind of wishy-washy. Be consistent. At your place of work, be consistent. Always deliver. Always deliver. In your career, always deliver. Whether you're even in school, right? Always deliver. Always deliver. I don't mean to sing my own praises, but I go back to my LinkedIn profile. Every time that I feel, down, or maybe I did something at work that wasn't really good. I had a review from one of my professors back in school. And I didn't solicit for this feedback on LinkedIn, but he said that Adedayo was one of my top. Every time I see the top, and I'll tell you what happened. So I was preparing for an exam, and I ran into this website that had a lot of, it was actually, funnily, it was a project management class. I ran into this website that had a lot of the questions. And then so I practiced those questions. I went to the exam hall, and I saw it was the same questions. So I had, I think, 110 over 100. So I had more points, right? And so since then, this man thought I was extremely smart. And so he went in there and then put this comment, and he said, oh, I'm sure he's going to do great, He's since reached out to me to say, hey, congratulations on all your achievement. But what I do is I go back to read that, right, just to reassure myself. And then I let that keep me going. And so every time I feel it, I'm like, I've done this before, let me do it again, right? Let me keep, striving for excellence. Let me keep striving for the top, the best. And so be consistent. Don't be that person that does 100% today and then you do 50% tomorrow. Consistency is key. All right, so are we good with that? Enablers, right? How many of you feel like you're doing well in these areas? If you feel like you could build more confidence, raise your hand. You think you can be more confident. Like, you really need to work on your confidence. All right. You think you can be more consistent. Right? You can be more consistent. Do you have what you need to do now? All right. What about visibility? I think that's a problem in the African community, quite honestly. You know, a lot of people don't know us. And you have all these skills, you have all these great ideas, but no one really knows it. All right. So work on being visible. Tell yourself, this week I'm going to meet my boss or my boss's boss or someone in my organization that I've never interacted with who really matter, and tell them that this is what I do, this is what I can do. If you need help, call on me. I'll do free work for you. You know, I'll volunteer to help you out. All right? Great. So now we move to the differentiation. I think I talked about consistency is key. Make yourself top of mind for other people. Be resourceful. One thing I want to do before I move on is, how do you be resourceful, right? At your organization or wherever it is, how do you become resourceful? The first thing there is be a status grower. Who knows what that means? Be a status grower. All right, meaning that when anyone needs to find out what the current status of anything is, they come to talk to you. Right? Like when your manager, you'll be surprised. You've worked on teams where you're doing all the work, but your manager goes to someone else to ask them for the status. Have you been in that situation before? Who has been there? You're doing all the work, but then your manager goes to someone else and you're wondering what's going on. I'm the one who did the work. Why are you going to this person? It's because that person is able to communicate status better than anyone else. Right? And so, because I don't want to listen to someone who's trying to explain things to me with 100 different words. If you can go straight to it, this is where we are. We're 20% done. We have about 2 more weeks to go, and we'll be done on this day. We'll give you a review on this day. Boom. Be that person. That's one way to be resourceful. The second way is find and maintain artifacts. Right? So maybe you found a journal from HBR, Harvard Business Review, that you think is helpful. Keep it. Right? Or maybe you found a document somewhere that talks about something. Keep that so that when someone needs it, you can send it to them. Once you do that, the next time they're looking for something, they'll come talk to you about it. So be resourceful. Maybe you find today, for example, some people are taking screenshots. Keep those things. And so when you need to talk to someone later, you say, "Oh, I went to this event. They shared this thing. Hey, here it is." Right? You're being resourceful to someone else, and then they'll come back to you, for help next time. How am I doing on time? All right, I need to be rounding up. Okay, great. So career differentiators, very quickly. The first thing that sets you apart is taking ownership. How many of you wait for you to be told something before you do it? It's very common. You need to take ownership, right? You need to step up and say, I am going to do this. So your boss says, well, we have this thing and that thing and these tasks to complete before the end of the week, and he's asking who's going to take this, and you hear silence. Be the one to break the ice. Say, I'll take it on. All right, I'll do it. Now, you taking it on doesn't mean that you'll be entirely responsible for it. It just means that you be the leader of it, and then you can find other people who work with you. All right? So take ownership. I'm going to move through this very quickly. How do you take ownership? Own it without being told. Take on the problem. Identify the right team. Follow through. Follow through is very important. Don't say you're going to start something and then they keep chasing you with phone calls. So follow through. Follow through is very important. Share your success with others and own your failures, right? So that's always important. The next differentiator is relationships. Relationships are very important. Some people get promoted or move to higher levels not because of what they know, but because of who they know. All right? And so you're in here today. There are a lot of business owners. You don't just walk in here and listen and then walk out. No. Go meet people. Talk to them. Build relationships with people. All right? Build relationships with people. Some people are rich in people than they are in money. Right? So you have to build relationships. You have to build relationships. If I were to look at 2 people candidates for promotion, for example, and I were to make the decision, if I know they're both competent, very competent, I'm more likely to go with the person that I have a relationship with. All right? So build relationship with people. It'll open more doors for you, more business doors, more career doors, more opportunities. So build relationships. I've seen people where they were maybe mid-level management where they were, and then they had someone who they had a good relationship with who moved to a different organization to become a CEO, and the first person that the CEO is looking for is that person, and he pulls them up. All right? That's not merit. It's based on relationships. All right? So build relationships. And I have some things there. To build great relationship, you have to build trust. Bring yourself, be authentic, right? In building relationships, don't be a different person at work than you are in church. Bring yourself, be authentic, develop emotional intelligence. When you see someone, think the way they're thinking, put yourself in their shoes. Again, I'm sorry I'm rushing through this. Care genuinely. But has this been helpful to anyone? Care genuinely for people and follow up consistently. Follow up consistently. This is the way to build relationship. If I meet you today, that's not the last time I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to try to, follow up with you. All right. The next one right there, this is so faint, is positive mentality. Positive mentality. This is one of my core areas, all right, is think positively. Always have a right outlook about your career. Know that you're going to do well regardless. Whether you lost your job or you're in between jobs or you're trying to change career, always know and think that your path is forward. Yeah, your path is upward, right? So have a positive mentality, all right? And I say that there's 6 statements that John C. Maxwell made. Actually, I'll just give you those 6 statements. The first statement is that things can go bad, right? The second statement is that things can go good, all right? The third statement is if you think bad, things will likely go bad, right? The fourth statement is if you think good, things will likely go good. And then the last statement is if you think both ways, you'll probably be stagnant. Now the 6th statement is how would you think? You think what? So you got to think good about your career, think good about your life, think good about your progression, think good about your finances. So positive mentality is very important. And the last thing is operate at your next level. Operate at your next level. All right. So what's that next level that you're trying to get to? Maybe you want to be a manager, you want to be a director, you want to be a business owner. Now is the time. In the business that I'm in consulting, no one promotes you until you start to exhibit the capabilities of the person in that next level. You don't get promoted. So it's the same way in life, in your career. For you to step into that new place, start speaking the language of that new place. All right. If you want to be a director, start learning how they speak. If you want to be an MD, start learning how they speak. If you want to switch careers, learn what's happening in there. Begin to speak that language, even if it means dressing like that, all right? Appearing that way. So it's very important. So I'll be rounding up right now. Looks like I have the panelists, standing by me. I'll be happy to answer any questions. There's a lot more content here. I'll be happy to even share this if you want it. But I hope you've been able to learn 1 or 2 things, all right? All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Food. So we're going to invite all our speakers. Sir, please, honorably enforce the law forward, please. I've learned so many things now about everyone, so I'm very confident. Mr. Raymond, please come. I see you also have law enforcement too around you from your father's side. Everybody just changed the way now. I'll be talking to them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anywhere is fine. The only person, Miss Kenny, please come forward. Thank you. Brother Dio, please come forward. So we're just going to be answering the questions. can just, only one is in, let me just move that. Okay, let me see. I don't know if the camera can be adjusted to ensure. Okay, is this one better? Yeah, let me move this one out. Okay, awesome. So I want some of the organizers to please pick up the questions. Let's go over it. The organizers with the question, let's go over it, please. Just receive the questions that we have and questions. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. So we have a question here. It says, what can be done to educate minority drivers to know how to handle police stop? Okay, this is a very good question. The first time the police stopped me, I froze in the middle of the highway. I will never forget in my life. The guy's like, you're going to kill me, you're going to kill you, you kill all of us. I said, and you know, I've been hearing testimonies in church. People start to speak in tongues and singing. It didn't work that day because I was so nervous. I stopped in the middle of the road. And the guy was just so upset. When he moved me to the side, I increased Waymaker, Miracle. He finally gave my license and said, just go. So it worked at the end. So, Mr. Raymond, how would that happen? How can we educate minority drivers when it comes to police stop? I know you mentioned something about Maryland being one of the states that they don't have to have like a social security, right?
I meant to ask the law enforcement.
Oh, the law. Sorry. I told you my suit is not complete, so let me behave myself. Sir, how can we approach?
Well, that's a good question. I think people have the wrong notion about police or law enforcement. That is what we have come to find out. You know, talking about minority, it's like we talk about these racial issues and so on and so forth. But from my experience as a law enforcement officer, trust me, if I have to interact with, let me say, 10 Caucasians and 10, say, African Americans, the way you interact with those people, there is a difference. You know, communication is vital to any interaction. When you interact with people, you want to listen to them. You also want them to listen to you. And of course, there are certain aspects that surround the profession. For instance, if I pull you over, there are certain things I expect you to do. Stay in your car, don't move. Respectfully, normally we'll come to you and say, do you know why I pulled you over? I'm not more into traffic, but I just generally, when you go into law enforcement, in the academy, when they train you and everything, you do all that general aspect of law enforcement. So when I come to you, you know, and I'm like, do you know why I pulled you over? How you doing? I greet you, you know. You can never end up with any issues. But, you know, with law enforcement, we talk about advice and we talk about order. Okay? So, when I come and I'm trying to advise you and you become unruly, of course, for my safety and your safety, there is a tendency that I will take it to another level. And that other level might not look good. So I think to answer that question is about mutual respect. You know, mutual respect. I have respect for you, also have respect for me. Don't go by the general perspective of, oh, law enforcement is bad, and you start doing some things that you ought not to do. At that point, you put me on edge, and when you put me on edge, of course, you know that things are not going to go down the right way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's put our hands together for him. So another question that we have actually has to do, Ms. Kenny, which is about project management. Someone is inquiring to find out that with a project management boot camp, is it really going to be a hands-on experience? I think this is probably coming from someone who is going to be new into the field.
Thanks for the question.
You're welcome.
For the boot camps, it's basically about the concept. You really understanding the concept of project management, what project management is, how to apply project management on the job, and how to make an impact. So honestly, with those boot camps, you get the on-the-job training, like the real-life experience while in your role.
Awesome.
So those boot camps is just concept-based.
Thank you so much. And don't forget, she has a table outside, and you can always go to her for more questions. So we have another very interesting question, and I want to appreciate everyone who sent in a question. I think this is one of the most direct ones we've had. The person says, Mr. Dio, please, I am a shy person. How can I be more confident so that I can be less self-conscious, especially with everything you told us about career? I have a positive mindset, but I'm still so shy. What can I do,
Yeah, I think confidence is driven by knowledge and preparation, right? So first of all, you need to be intentional about getting out of your shyness. But before you go talk to someone, prepare, right? Know exactly what you want to say, because knowledge, even the Bible says, knowledge makes you shine, right? So you know exactly what you want to say, and then when you're speaking to someone, just speak based on what you've researched, what you know, and then if you do it consistently enough, you're going to come out of that shyness. Again, I know people talk about introverts and extroverts and those type of things, but at the end of the day, confidence shouldn't be, there are people who are shy. It doesn't mean that they're not confident, right? Maybe, you can't face 100 people or you can't face 200 people, but you can do one-on-ones, right? You can talk to people one-on-ones. But if you find yourself where even on one-on-ones, you're not able to communicate, or maybe you're scared, it's most likely because maybe you don't have faith in what you're saying. And so if you build confidence and you do it, if you learn more about what you want to say or the topics that you discuss with people, and you do it consistently enough, you outgrow that shyness. Again, there's still going to be stage fright. Maybe you go talk to 100 people or 10 people or a group. Those things come with time. You practice to overcome those type of things. But I think confidence is driven by knowledge and preparation. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, thank you so much. So we have a question for Mr. Raymond. I think there's a follow-up question. Okay. Okay.
In those cases, what I've done is I set a goal for myself. So if I'm going to this place, again, intentionality matters. I set a goal for myself is I want to meet 10 people today, or I want to meet 5, whatever your bandwidth is. I want to do this. So you have to be intentional about it. No one is going to, there's so much motivation could do, but that. And then the other thing for motivation is outcome. So if something is outcome driven, so that the reason why I want to meet 5 people is so that I can overcome shyness, or so that I can get a new opportunity, or so that I can improve myself. So tie it to an outcome. So those two things, being intentional and being outcome driven, will push you to go talk. And then you never know what happens after you start it, but you just have to be intentional about doing it. It's going to be difficult. It doesn't come naturally to everyone, but you just have to be intentional about it.
Thank you so much. And I've seen something that works a lot is maybe starting with a compliment. The Bible says that you yourself must be friendly. I notice it a lot when we have a lot of youth events and people are in a corner like this. I'm like, does my outfit look good? You're begging them to even say something. So I think that was great advice. Mr. Raymond, so this is a question that relates to something that you had mentioned that you went through. Someone is saying that coming out of COVID, which pretty much was like the economy crashed for some people, they lost careers. They want to find out, how did you find the strength, the motivation? What was the driving force for you to build again after losing your business and everything that went down? What would you advise someone who is now at that point, 2021, they've lost their job in 2020, and they don't know where to start? What would you advise them?
Thank you very much for the question.
You're welcome.
You always have to believe in yourself. Like he has said, have the confidence in yourself that if you did it before, you can do it again. I lost material things, lost the house, lost the car. I didn't lose my mind. I didn't lose the knowledge.
Please put your hands together for that. That's a germ right there. Come on, guys. Clap, clap. I know we're so used to observing, but that was a germ right there. Please. Sorry, continue.
Okay.
That hit me.
So I didn't lose the knowledge of how I did it before. And it was just a matter of, all right, where do I start and how do I get back on my feet to start all over again? And in most cases, rebuilding is more difficult than building the first time. Because you have to clean up what has been destroyed
Yes.
before you can build on it again. Now, the one thing that I had that most of my friends in real estate at the time didn't have was that my nursing career and my nursing license was my backup. So I kept that renewed even though I wasn't using it when I left the nursing job to start the real estate business. So I kept my nursing license renewed. And I know that nursing, but it's always been like a backup for me. If anything goes wrong in business, I can get a nursing job tonight
Yes.
and get started again. So that helped me. So I always, have that background, that backup plan that I can go get a job tomorrow if something goes wrong with the business. But I also prayed and humble myself to start over and not worry about what has been lost and look forward and say to myself that what is ahead of me is greater than what has been
Yes.
lost. So that's how I motivated myself to start over.
Thank you so much. Let's put our hands together. Believe in yourself and rebuild. So we have this question also coming to the project managers, Sister Kenny. It says, can a project manager be in a contract position at work with various companies? You see the 6-figure number is hitting people. Someone is trying to get 12 figures. Okay. Let me ask this question without thinking of their pockets. God help me. Okay. It says, can a project manager be a contract position at the work with, they didn't say one, they didn't say two, they said with various companies, or stick with only one job? So they're trying to find out if they can be a project manager for PwC, be a project manager for KBNG, and then be a project manager for the state of Maryland. Sir Kenny, tell us, can we make 12 figures?
Don't be greedy. Don't
Wow.
be greedy.
Okay.
Again, don't do it just for the money. Do it for the passion of it. Okay. Let your skills, what you bring to the table, speak for you. With project management, I'm sorry, this guy's testimony is making me tear. Sorry. With project management, a lot of times when it's just for the money, after a while, people will be able to tell that they're just for the money and not for the impact that you can make for your team, for the organization. So I would say, how about stick to one? Perfect your art, okay? Stick to one, learn all you can learn. Be available, emotionally available for your team. Build your skills. Don't be greedy. I know a lot of people with this pandemic, people work from home, and I see people, you can do 3 jobs, you can do 5 jobs. Please don't be greedy. Focus on building your skills and let your skills speak for you.
Thank you so much. Let's put our hands together. You can still make the 12 figures, but don't be greedy. Please, we have this question that came. It said that Brother Dayo said, I'm in a situation where I cannot meet my boss, but I want to find out from you practical ways to be visible. I know you had mentioned in your presentation about being visible. I want to find out practical ways, but my boss is a no-go. How can I be visible?
Boss is a no-go in what sense? I'm sorry.
All they said is where you cannot meet their boss. So I'm thinking they're probably in a multi-level organization, and probably the president of the organization is not someone they can reach.
Okay.
But maybe they have subordinates and people around them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that, there's what's called the network effect, right? Everybody you're friends with on Facebook, you don't know them personally. Everybody you're connections with on LinkedIn, you don't know them personally. But you started out with the people that you knew, and then they had, networks that then, you grow into. I think the key is not to go for the top quickly, right? The goal to be visible is to make people feel your impact, or at least sell yourselves to people. It doesn't have to be, the top people. It could even be your team members. Yeah, your team members, your colleagues don't even know everything that you can do, right? Because everyone, is focused on this task, on that task. So start with your team members and say, hey, this is what I can do. Like he talked about being in the real estate market, for example. Like before you start selling $1 million deals, let people know that you can actually sell $200,000 houses very well, right? So tell your team members and say, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Also, because a lot of the industry that we work in, you don't have the same boss for a long time, especially these days. Maybe your boss is only your boss for 2 years, 3 years. It doesn't have to be your immediate boss. There are other people who matter in your field, right? Visibility doesn't only have to be on your team or within your company. It can be in your field. It can be in your local community, right? It can be in your, whatever, associations you're part of, right? Just keep saying that. And then before you know it, you tell one person, 2 people know, 10 people know, 20 people know. It's network effect. So if you have a boss that it's not reachable, that's a different issue. But from a visibility perspective, it doesn't have to start with your boss. It can start with your teammates that you're helping out.
thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Can I add to that?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, sooner or later, that boss at the head office will hear about you if the immediate boss is impressed by you. So there are little things you can do, maybe volunteering to cover a shift. I'm from the nursing background, so I'm speaking shift. So sometimes they need someone to take care of an assignment and nobody wants to do it, and you volunteer to do it, and you keep volunteering to do it. Sooner or later, somebody in the corporate office will know that the person that has been volunteering to do this thing is such and such person, and they'll remember you. And this happened when our corporate bosses came to visit the nursing home that I used to work for. And when they came, they wanted to, who's Raymond? They wanted to meet Raymond. So I was called and they said, well, thank you for covering that shift that night.
Wow.
Thank you for helping with that admission that nobody wanted to do, but you volunteered to stay over to do it. So I said, okay, thank you. I didn't know somebody noticed. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So you can make impact at the level you're in. So a question for sir, law enforcement. They want to find out, sir. Please put your hands together for him. Why does everybody look sad when it's law enforcement time? Okay, sir, serious. They have a question. They want to be part of law enforcement, but don't want to have access to weapons, but they want to be able to be part of law enforcement. Are there career options? Please, nobody, this is someone's. Are there career options that they can be a part of without being trained in heavy ammunition?
Unfortunately, I doubt how you can be law enforcement and you don't want to carry a gun. We have some other aspects, say, let me say the unit I work for, internal affairs, you have the intelligence aspect. You can do the intelligence part of it, where you don't go through the police academy to maybe do 6 months and you end up having a badge and a gun. But you should also understand that without that badge and that gun, you might not be strictly be enforcing the law. You might just be probably someone who is assisting with some other form of duty, probably to help those who are investigating one crime or another.
Okay.
So before they call you law enforcement, it means
Yeah.
you've been through that training, the physical rigor and everything, and they give you a gun and a badge to enforce the law.
Okay.
Then let me just seize this opportunity, if you don't mind, to just, clear the air a bit about law enforcement and the public. As we all know, currently we have a kind of atmosphere where people feel like law enforcement is against the public or the public is against law enforcement. But I think it's all about understanding the process. Let me just use an example. Law enforcement officer, pulled that trick and killed somebody. Everybody is on street, riots here and there, and they feel like, oh, the law enforcement, they are against the people. No, sometimes there are mistakes. However, what I would like us to understand is there is a process to everything. As a law enforcement officer, I can even see you kill somebody. I witness you kill the person, but you still have some rights. You still have some rights. As long as you are not dead, we still go through a process. That is why we get to a point, there is what we call the Miranda rights. Even with the fact that you committed the crime, I know for sure that you committed that crime, but there could be, surrounding circumstances to why you did that. But for me to get that information from you, I need to advise you of your Miranda rights. And you can choose to say, hey, I don't want to talk to you. That's your right. And I will do nothing. But if you choose to talk to me, there is always a process. And in the course of that process, we can always establish the facts to clear whatever was the situation. So always give us time when there is an incident that we can fully investigate it. Thank you.
Yes, the police is your friend. Clap. The final question that we have, this person is here and they don't want to miss the opportunity to ask this question. The question is for Mr. Raymond. He says, sir, do you really need a nursing degree to own your own healthcare training institute or agency? I want to hammer. I added the I want to hammer, but but do you really need, the way the person wrote it, if you can all look, do you need a nursing is in bold letter here. So the person needs to know, do I really need to go to school, get the nursing degree? I just want to open a healthcare institute like you, Mr. Raymond. I want to have the T-shirt and the students. What can I do?
A good question. Remember, the first thing is owning a business, right? And you don't need to have the license of that profession to own a business of that profession.
Clap,
For
clap,
example,
clap, clap, clap. You have started making your money. Clap. You people will not give him a percentage now. When you open your nursing, so let them clap. This is the only bill we can charge them.
and I can actually assist you to open one anyway.
Wow, clap again, clap again. A free consultant too. Sorry, is it free, sir? This thing is worldwide. Is it? It's not, okay, not free, but clap, sir.
Nothing is free.
This on YouTube, please, nothing is free. Don't quote me or Mr. Raymond outside.
Mention winners, I'll give you a discount.
Okay,
Right?
promo code
Okay.
WINNERS.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But on a serious note, for example, you can own a hospital and you don't have to be a doctor. You just have to hire a medical director who is a doctor to manage the hospital for you. However, it helps that you are a nurse to open a nursing agency. Because sometimes initially when you first started, you might need to go cover a shift yourself. But if you have the money, then hire a nurse. And you must have a nurse anyway to get the license to be an agency. There must be a registered nurse who will be supervising all the nurses while they're at work, not you, the owner. Unless if you're also the nursing supervisor in charge of the agency. So you don't have to be a nurse to open a nursing agency. You just have to hire one to be the nursing supervisor of the agency to get approved, and also to supervise the nurses while they are at work, because if anything goes wrong while they are working, the supervisor is responsible.
Wow.
I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. Thank you so much. So if you ask this question, actually, in front of you, you already have everything you need. Brother will help you cultivate the idea. Mr. Raymond will put it in the healthcare. Sister Kenny will make sure your project is executed. And the Honorable Law Enforcer will ensure that your assets and liabilities are secured. Put your hands together. It is time for item 7. Thank you to all our speakers.
kind of decided that, you know what, probably this is what I love, because back in Cameroon, where I come from, I have always done petty trades, but this time I was looking at going into entrepreneurship in a whole new level. And when I, decided to go that route, I was excited, and I was so excited and so zealous, but I didn't know what it really took to be a successful entrepreneur. And it was a lot of overwhelming. And through all those challenges and all the things I've come through or I've been through with starting my digital marketing agency called Zoe Creative Studio, where we help businesses and personal brands with promotional video production, website development, Facebook advertising, and social media strategy. We've come a long way, and my personal brand, where I personally help entrepreneurs to pursue the entrepreneur dream, giving them the skills and resources they need. I have learned a lot of things. I've discovered so many things that I want to share with you all today. Now, I've realized that you have to be ever learning in order to thrive as an entrepreneur. This includes being open and always adapting to change, because an entrepreneur is someone who brings solutions to problems. So if you cannot even adapt to change and to the changing environments, then you can bring real problems, and that there is a problem. Also, you have to be persistent and hardworking. There's no way that you can thrive without being hardworking and persistent. And remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, so do not expect to have overnight success. It doesn't happen that way, because even God has to make sure that you have the capabilities and the skills and the resistance that it takes to, get a certain level of success. Now, you need mentors and coaches. This one is huge. In order to get to where you want to be, being held by somebody who has been there is amazing. They will kind of shorten the learning curve for you, and that's great. Another thing that you should do while deciding or while starting out, or even if you're already an entrepreneur, you have one business or the other, is to acquire new skills. This right here is what will make you stand out and make you thrive as an entrepreneur. You need new skills. And this is a quote I came up with. Your level of success is a function of your level of personal development, by Mervyn Sama. I feel smart. So, you attract success by the person you become. Learn skills that will move you forward in your field of interest. Non-negotiable skills that every entrepreneur needs are communication skills and sales. Right now, I'm selling you on entrepreneurship. I'm telling you how good this is. But yeah, you should always develop new skills in order to thrive and in order to be exceptional. Okay, also learn to package yourself. Let the way you talk and show up reflect what you really want. And our brother Dio said that. You need to package yourself for your next level. Remember, you will not get there if your mind hasn't gotten there. There's a quote by Dr. Cindy Trim that says, your feet will not take you to where your mind hasn't taken you to. Now, there are a lot of challenges. Challenges in this journey are inevitable. There are days, however, my head is like kicking so fast. The web developer is not doing something right. Something is not just right somewhere. Jesus, I feel like just shutting down my laptop, shutting down everything, and just laying on the couch and watching a Mount Zion movie. Now, when you sign up for entrepreneurship, you're signing up for a life of challenges. A lot of them will come. But remember, as a Christian entrepreneur, Jesus is your advantage, so you always get through them. Now, these are some challenges I've faced, okay? Choosing wrong team members, being able to, when you're starting out something, and listen, I don't even want you to think that, starting out as an entrepreneur, I must hire 15 people. No, thank you. You can start out and as God is helping you. So now, choosing wrong team members has just been a big problem, and they're not having clear terms and conditions. I'm sorry, I'm rushing through this because there's no time. And now, not having solid systems is a problem that I faced, but I rectified that when I learned how detrimental that was. And then not taking marketing seriously. There's no business without marketing. If you do not market, you don't have a business. That's a hobby. Now, the God factor, you guys. This right here, you see the lady lifting up holy hands. There's no way that we can do it without Jesus, because He's our superpower. The Holy Spirit is our superpower. The market is saturated. And if you cannot allow God to help you, lead you, come on. There's no way you can make it. And also, as an entrepreneur, it involves a lot of risk taking. I take certain risks, and I wonder how on earth my husband let me do that. Ask myself, like, wait, did he really allow me to spend that amount of money for this? But I'm grateful to God for that. So in situations like that, the Holy Spirit should always be your leader and helper, because without Him, you will make so many mistakes that will cost you a lot. Praise the Lord Jesus. And then beginning of this year, God told me that if I wanted to achieve the goals I was setting for myself, I was going to constantly check in on him. You know how you check in on your boss? Like, hey, boss, I've just done this. What do you think? Like, what do you think about this? Like, I was going to constantly check in on him for direction, wisdom, empowerment that was needed for me to get there. Praise God. And now, these are some of the things that have aided me in my journey. Books, online courses, mentors. These things right here are huge. Because for you to get to where you want to be, you have to interact with the minds, those people that have been there, people who have run huge businesses, great people. So I've read a lot of books, I've taken a lot of online courses, I've had a lot of mentors. Starting out this year, I chose to invest heavily into mentorships. And I was able to get mentored by people like Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, and a lot more people, experts in the industry. And I can see the change. Because like I said before, you become, the level of success you get is a function of how great you become in your mind. And with that said, I can even charge higher prices for my services because I'm a different person overall. When you invite big people to come, like coach your company or talk to your marketing team, they pay them hundreds of thousands, not because of anything external, but because of who they have become, how they've grown as individuals. So as I've seen significant changes in my business and personal brand because I've been investing in these aspects. And, content creation, marketing, etc. These are some of the things that I've, taken courses on, branding and all that. So most importantly, investing in a coach that holds your hand is the great deal. Listen, this is the thing I said when I did it. I don't know how my husband said yes to it, but I probably blindfolded him on the altar of prayer. But this is the thing. This coach I'm working with right now, he's holding my hand. Like I get to points where, oh God, I don't know. What marketing strategy should we use for my digital marketing agency? What can we do to move these things forward? The funnels we are building, what choices should we make? And he helps me by the hand. And it's so expensive to afford him. Of course it should be expensive. I should be expensive now, given the amount of money I've used to get here. So it's obvious, right? So, but it's so expensive, but it is helping me greatly. I really begin to wonder how people who don't have such, privilege, how they are doing it to run their businesses, because once you get people who already are doing what you want to do help you, it's better and easier. Praise God. So I have two offers for you. Anybody who wants to maybe start out in their journey, you have a skill, you know that there is something you can offer the marketplace. Because I started by saying that entrepreneurship is problem solving. There's no way just sitting and thinking, I want to make $1 million without you thinking of how you will bring a solution to the marketplace. It doesn't happen. Best entrepreneurs and wealthiest entrepreneurs are those that truly solve real problems. So I'm going to be sending out a free PDF that I have some resources on there for people who are aspiring entrepreneurs or start out entrepreneurs, people who are frustrated not knowing the next best moves for us entrepreneurs. And one thing I want you to also know is I'm mostly talking about kind of online entrepreneurs. Like if you have a physical business, that still applies to you because, I'll be teaching branding, marketing strategy, social media marketing, in my next offer. But yeah. So I'll send it out. The way you can get that is by going to my Instagram. I have a link on there where you can pre-register. So I'll send it out to you next week. My Instagram handle is Mary Van Sam. I'll show you at the end of this. So this is a free resource that will be helpful to anyone who is thinking about starting in their entrepreneurship journey, or new entrepreneurs who need help on nailing things down and moving forward in their journey. And then my second offer will be a 4-week boot camp. This is coming up. It is a 4-week boot camp that will help take you from ground zero up in your entrepreneurship journey. I'll first of all transform your mindset. That's one thing that I had to clean out my mind to be able to get anything going. I'll first of all transform your mindset to rightly position you for business success, and then teach you branding, Canva, graphic design, social media marketing, and much more. Praise the Lord. So the way to actually get any info on all of this is to get your girl on Instagram. On my bio right there, you can pre-register, and I'll be very glad to connect with you all. And thank you so much, Winners Chapel, for having me. Thank you guys so much for listening to me.
Copy and share on your WhatsApp. Let people text you and ask you, who is Mary Von Sama? What did she tell you? Who poisoned you? You tell them, I have some good stuff for you. I hope we've done that. Thank you so much. So as Mary Von Sama said, entrepreneurship is problem solving. We have a gentleman coming up right now. He is a specialist in problem solving.
Been one of the things that has been very passionate. I've been very passionate about for quite a long time, and I'm just excited to talk about all of my experiences. I will not get a chance to talk about all my experiences in this session, so just let you know. But if you catch me on the outside, you can sit and talk to me. I'll have conversations. I've had conversations with different folks. Please feel free to get me. I'm a resource of knowledge. Whatever I have, I'll give to you. So I think I know how to work this. Okay, so I'm a rule follower, right? So when I got the outline for today, I pretty much stuck with answering the questions, but I hope that my answers will help you in your entrepreneurship walk and will help you to develop your own passion. And again, I'll be available after this session to answer any additional questions. So the first question was, what influenced your decision to become an entrepreneur? What did you consider? So I work for the federal government. I've been doing so since 2000. But in the back of my mind, when I moved here, I was like, I really want to just branch out on my own. You know, I know that there's been millionaires and billionaires made because people work hard and they can do it. So let me get out there and make a bunch of money. So, but I had, went to school and I had to have a job, right? So I went to work for God made me have an opportunity to work for the federal government. So I started there. But the very first day I worked for the federal government, I'll never forget it. The guy in my interview, he said, Mr. Gatling, what do you hear? What brings you to the federal government? I see you have, you have a degree in computer science. You seem like an energetic guy. What brought you to the federal government? I said, well, sir, I want to come here. I want to work hard and make a lot of money and take care of my family. And he said, sir, I hate to tell you, you're in the wrong job. And I looked at him. He was like, this is the federal government. He said, people they go to work 8 hours, and then they go home. He said, sorry, sir. And that brought me, over the years, brought me to a state of depression, actually. And I went through the state of depression for quite a number of years because in my mind, I was a millionaire. And I had enough energy to do it. What do you mean I can't do it here at this job? And I couldn't see myself developing into this person I thought God had created. So again, I suffered from a point of depression, and I went to work and I just did what I had to do, and I go home. But I started to just get that motivation to look, don't just use this job as your end-all be-all. Let's go and start something. So I knew I had a passion for graphic design, and so I chased that, started a graphic design company, and that's when things took off. But then I also learned that you can take the entrepreneur mindset, even though I work for the federal government, apply it to the federal government and use that in your career. And I'm going to tell you, just the entrepreneur mindset, applying it anywhere where you work can open up doors for you. And I'll say this. I end up networking with a group of people that in the federal government that people will tell you, $100,000, you're doing real good. These guys were making $200,000 and $300,000. So I started to network with them. And I started to, thank God, open me up to opportunities to do just the same. So that's where you use that mindset. No matter where you are, no matter what career field you're in, use the entrepreneur mindset to boost your potential. And I'll be more than happy to talk to anybody about how to do that after this. So, because I got to get through my questions. So, and again, another thing that caused me to chase entrepreneurship would be happiness in working. I wanted to do something where I didn't have people telling me, oh, this is the amount of money you can make. This is the type of job you'll do. No, I dictate that. I tell you what I'm going to do because I know the gifts and skills that God has given me. So let me tell you what I'm going to do. So I wanted to be happy with what I did every day, right? I wanted to wake up in the morning, and my wife would tell you, I do graphic design for T-shirts. She said, that boy make T-shirts all night if you let him. Because that's what my passion is. I love making graphics for T-shirts. As you can tell by the presentation materials, I like doing graphics. So I can do that all the time. So why do I have to get up and go to a job where I can just click a button, go back home? No, let me do something that excites me. So that's what caused me to chase entrepreneurship. Do something that you enjoy and something that you can do not 8 hours, but 12 hours a day and still feel like you haven't worked 1 hour. So that's a motivation. So, what lessons have you learned thus far? I'm going to save that for question 4 because God has taught me some things that I do want to share with you. We're going to be transparent, right? We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it 100 here. So I'm going to tell you some things that God has spoken to me over my entrepreneurial walk. What challenges have you faced that have transformed your journey? So, as soon as I read this question, there's a song that my daughter listens to every afternoon. And it goes, yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no. That's what you get when you become an entrepreneur. You're going to have those instances where whatever it is you're selling, whatever it is you're giving people are going to be like, man, this is the greatest thing. Why didn't I know about you before? But then for the 4 people that you get to say yes, you're going to have 7 that are going to tell you, man, get out of here. I ain't buying what you're selling. But you can't let that deter you because the thing about entrepreneurship is resiliency. You got to be able to weather the storm and know that even though this person said no, there are 1,000 other people out here I can help. Let me go find those other people, and that'll help me grow my business. Because if you listen to the people that tell you no, 9 times out of 10, when you go back and check their results, they're stagnant or haven't moved. So don't let that deter you. go find that next person that needs what you're offering, and you chase after them with a passion, and you go get those people, because sooner or later, as you craft your skill, as you craft your product, people will come to you, and people will see that, wow, what this young lady is selling is really profitable. Let me sign up, let me at least see what they're talking about. And from there, that's how a lot of people, I started doing graphics for a lot of people. They would say, well, I saw this graphic you did for this person, or I saw this t-shirt you did for this person. Let me see what you could do. And I would take whatever idea they gave me, craft something special for them. They're like, bro, we're staying with you. And that has opened me up to contracts, and the people that now routinely come to me, hey, I got another t-shirt deal for you. Hey, I got another graphics deal for you. And I don't even advertise anymore. I stopped advertising years ago because word of mouth just carried. And that's how I got my business. So we thank God. Oh, and realize that it's a sprint versus a marathon. Some people get into entrepreneurship like, man, I'm going to get out here and I'm going to make $1,000 next week. Nah, bruh. Nah, that ain't gonna happen. Because I'm telling you, my wife will tell you, there were hours upon hours that I spent crafting my skill, learning Adobe Photoshop, learning Adobe Illustrator, learning these tools. And she was like, you just sitting at this computer, you ain't got no work to do. What you doing? And so, but then once she saw, I started to get better at creating graphics, started to get better at learning my craft. And people started saying, hey, I want you to do this t-shirt. And then I had so much work that when I came home, I'm going to eat dinner real quick because I have 5 jobs I need to go design. And she was like, wow. And these jobs are paying this much, this much, this much, this much. She was like, no, you go ahead and make them too. You go ahead. So just understand that Rome wasn't built in a day. You have to craft your skill, and you have to spend time understanding where your gifts, skills, and abilities lie, so you can let them make room for you. That's what God says. Your gifts will make room for you. Allow yourself to understand what those gifts are, craft and hone those skills so they can start to make room for you. And that takes a little bit of time. And because we started our business in 2008. Yeah, 2008, somewhere around there. But I've been doing graphics since 1997. So that lets you know it takes some time. So this is the question that I need to spend some time on. How has God influenced and played a role in your success? What events have occurred which have clearly defined the difference with serving God? All righty. First point I want to bring up is murmuring is destructive. So me working for the federal government, like I said, God allowed me to use my entrepreneur mindset. So I'm a federal government civilian, but I'm also a federal government contractor. A lot of people don't know that you can hold both statuses. And so where I work at, you can hold what's a blue badge, which is a civilian, and a contractor badge. A lot of people think you have to hold one or the other. I was blessed with the opportunity to be able to hold both of them. So I would work my civilian job during the day, but because I had an IT background and I held certain skills, I was able to procure contracts for myself and work individually on different contracts. At some point, I did one job that allowed me to have 2 contracts. So that was just a blessing from God. But in that same job, this job paid me more working part-time than my full-time job. But I would go in and I'd be like, oh, I got to work this job. I don't get out till 6. Crystal is home, and man, I want to go eat. And okay, but I'm going to go work this job. And now let me remind you that I'm getting paid more on part-time, working 4 hours a day. I'm getting paid more than that working 8 hours a day. Just say that. So I'm working this job. And I would just be like, Crystal, I want to come home and chill with you. She said, well, you can get off in a little. I'm like, okay. Again, murmuring, right? Not saying, God, thank you for this opportunity that I have. Yet instead, I'm like, oh, I got to go work this job. I walk into the office one day, and the guy's like, well, just let you know, contract will be ending by the end of the week. We're going to close up shop. I was like, excuse me? We're going to do what? He was like, yeah, the contract ends at the end of the week. I just found out, yeah, we're going to close shop at the end of the week. Yeah, y'all guys got to go find another place to work. At that moment, I was like, God, oh, Lord, forgive me. Lord, let me pray, Lord. Lord is like, nah, bro, I gave it to you, but you didn't understand the blessing that you had, and all I heard was complaining. And and thank God, us coming into Winners Chapel, I understood what murmuring was. And I understood that that's what destroyed that opportunity, not being thankful to God for saying, God, even though this might be a humble beginning, even though I might have to work some extra hours, this is a blessing for me to be in this position. Let me thank you for it regardless. So I learned whatever level you are, wherever you are in your entrepreneurship walk, thank God, because there is a gem that he's trying to give your soul, that you have to start here and work here. He has to elevate you part-time, because if he gave you the full vision all at once, your head would explode. You probably go jump off a mountain. Oh, Lord, I'm going to have all this coming. And you won't be focused on what he has for you right now. So just thank God at the level you are. Don't complain, even though sometimes it may seem like your walk might be longer than someone else's. Just say, thank you, God, and God continue to strengthen me to bring me on, and that'll happen. So the second thing, this happened in recent years. So I'll say God took our graphic business from what we made in a year to what we make in a month. And so that was a blessing. And through that, and that was through online sales. And through that, I started to understand that, hey, there are a lot of people out here that I can design for that don't quite understand that then if I design for them, I can really help them. So I started to design some things for some people. And you get into the boundary of copyrights and different things, and you got to be very careful. So a lot of people hold copyrights for certain graphics. If you use them, you can get into a little bit of trouble. So I would reach out to some of the copyright owners and say, hey, I can design for you. I can make your business be this much better. Here's some testimonials and some real numbers that I can do this for you. Let me do it for you. Okay, we'll get back to you. Okay, we'll get back to you. Okay, we'll talk to you later. And it just, I was like, oh, you know what? Let me show them what I can do, right? I'll make them a couple things, put it online. I'm not really crossing the boundary where I'm not stealing from them, but I'm just kind of putting their stuff out there for them to let them see, right? Didn't think I was doing anything wrong. But lo and behold, one of the arms of the business got shut down because I infringed on some copyrights. And I was like, Lord, this thing shut down. It was making some real good money. What happened? It's almost like the Holy Spirit spoke to me. He said, Charles, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to help people, and you're trying to do good and make money for your family. Clearly, God said, but my standard is my standard. You have to walk in integrity in anything that you do. You knew it was skating the realms of between, copyright infringement versus not, but you did it anyway. You know there's a standard that I'm going to hold you to. And I told my wife, that was when I prayed about, like, Lord, help this thing open back up. I was making some good money. He's like, nah, we're not going to open it back up because I want you to learn that my standard is this. When you operate by my standard, that's when I'll watch over it. If you step outside of that, then you're on your own. And that's the one thing that whatever it is you do, no matter how quick somebody can tell you can make some money, no matter how lucrative the opportunity it is, if it's not walking at God's standard, doing what's right and what's above board at all costs, don't do it. Don't do it. I promise you, don't do it. Because you're going to come into an opportunity where the devil will string you along. Yeah, come on, make this money. And then you'll start making some money, and you'll start basing your life on it. And next thing you know, you might buy a car because you're making this money. Then when God come and say, it's shut down because you're not living by the way the decrees I've told you, don't be, you don't want to have built a lot of stuff on top of that when it's not what God's foundation would be. So just be careful to always walk in integrity in all that you do. Therefore, no man can come and take it away from you. So just want to say that. Okay, so are there courses or materials that have positioned you for growth, and which ones? I think I heard not only did Sister Kenny speak about it, a couple other of the speakers from the previous session spoke about it, professional certifications. So me being a government employee, my background is computer science. I have a degree in computer science. I have a bachelor's and a master's, but I also have professional networking certifications like Network Plus, Security Plus, and so forth. Those certifications have been the key to allow me to be able to go to the federal government and say, hey, I want to work as a contractor for you, and they would pay you pretty well because you hold these certifications. Whatever you do, whatever your field is, look at not only having a formal education. Formal education is good, but also look at those formal certifications. Whatever field you're in, like I said, for me, IT, I had Network Plus, Security Plus, A Plus, and all those things. Look at those other certifications, because those are the things, as Brother Dow mentioned, you have your enablers, but then you have your things that set you apart, right? For me, my professional certification set me apart from a lot of other folks. Matter of fact, it was the determining factor for me getting hired on some federal contracts that paid people 50, 60, 70, $80 an hour. So just to sit there and watch YouTube all day, to click on a button and make sure a system is running, click on the button, then you go and do something else, just sit and twiddle your thumbs all day. Easy job, but because you have these certifications and you show them that you have these credentials, the government picks you versus anybody else. So professional certification, definitely say, whatever field you're in, look at getting those. And networking, right? Just talking to people. I think Brother Dow was talking to that before. Building your network, right? Understanding what you do, being able to succinctly say, when somebody say, hey, what it is you do? I am an IT person. I'm also a federal mediator. You know, just being able to say, give your elevator pitch, right? 2 or 3 minutes just to let somebody know this is what I'm about. And people can gauge you like, okay, there's somebody that I can have a side conversation with or have further business dealings with because I know a little bit about what they do. When you're so quiet and you're not kind of afraid to talk to people, people can't understand what it is you bring to the table. You got to let people know what it is you bring to the table, so you can create that one of those impressions, which I learned from Brother Dow, 5 to 7. I need 5 to 7 impressions now. But you want to make that lasting impression on people, that they know that when they need a person, when they come into a need, they know a person they can call, and that person could be you. So, I think the last thing I want to cover, if I do have time, I know I'm on a time thing, mentorship. Mentorship is immensely important. Having somebody you can talk to say, hey, I'm trying to do this. Can you help me? Can you help me understand, is this the right move? Is this the wrong move? Definitely find one person, I would say 3 people. Find 3 people in your career field, someone at the top, someone at the same level as you, maybe someone learning from you, because you always can constantly learn, that just can help you make the right steps, because the thing you don't want to do is waste time in your entrepreneurial walk. You want to be as effective as possible with your time, because you got things you got to take care of. You got a family to take care of. You got goals you want to meet. You don't need to be going around the mountain 40 times to figure out the path you need to take. Get somebody that can help you, in your career field. But also, so I say spirit and human. The one thing I've learned, and this is just this year, how important the Holy Spirit is. If you do not have a relationship, we are all winners in here, right? So we get the teachings, we understand. But I just want to make sure I emphasize, if you don't know who the Holy Spirit is, make sure you craft your relationship with him. When I get up in the morning, he is the first person I say good morning to. Good morning, Holy Spirit. Let's get together. Let's rock out today. Let's go get it done. And as you do that, you'll be surprised the doors that will open, the insight that he'll give you to the simple tasks that you need to do in order to leap you forward. Simple tasks that you need to do to leap you forward. Follow the Holy Spirit's leading and watch him just show up in your life. Amen.
get something from this. You've heard a lot of entrepreneur information. I won't bore you with that. The most juicy part will be at the end of how you can get grants and incentive from the government. So I'll spend more time on that at the end. So quickly, I have my bachelor's degree from Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. I was a team lead for telecom companies. So when I knew how the business worked, I used to train people, help them build a resume, help them with interview, help them secure a job, and give them 3 months support to make sure they're well off. So I kept on doing that consistently, and people started calling me, but it was free. So some guys didn't take advantage of that. They will come in once, they won't take, and this is my time. I'm giving up my time, giving you knowledge, the package I offer, nobody offer that free of charge. So the numbers kept growing, and I said, you know what? I have to put a fee to that. So what I did was I created my business and started charging. So when I was charging, people kept coming. So what I did was, the way I make sure you successfully secure a job is, I take the job description and your resume, put it online on JobScan, compare side by side, and tell me how well your resume matched to what that job description is looking for. Then I'll go back, make changes, make edit, and then coach you one-on-one to make sure you understand what the job is looking for. After every interview, you call me immediately, we'll sit down, ask you direct questions. What questions did they ask you? How did you answer those questions? That way we can kind of see where the gaps are. Not only how to interview effectively, but how to make sure you understand what this field takes. Then I'll go back and review and see, okay, where are you lacking behind? How can we build your skills to give you one-on-one training? So that's what I was doing. But also, everyone that was hired, after 3 months of staying on that job, I was getting paid peanuts, $500 to $1,000 per person. You think it's a lot of money, but it's not compared to what I'm getting paid right now per head. So I was excited, making money, doing this. So I said, you know what, I gotta step it up. So I opened my business. Not gonna bore you with this. I developed an app, 2015. From the training, I launched into IT service. I started doing CCTVs, network install, the whole suite. The same 2017, I launched into software development. I'm currently certified as an AWS developer, Salesforce admin, and app builder. So how did I combine my work and my business? I get home 6 p.m., spend time with the family, 7 p.m. to 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, I'm working, non-stop. There was no two ways about that. While I was at work, same thing. I'll take time off from my job, go up. I mean, it was so, I remember in the wintertime, I'll leave my jacket in my chair so the office would not think I left the building. I would be on the rooftop making business calls in the cold. Because if they know I left for that long, they will say what's going on. So I have to leave my jacket there, leave my computer on, go in the rooftop, making calls, calling different companies, trying to win their business. Consistently, I will take time off, I will leave my job early, whatever it takes to secure that contract and get more stuff done. I did that consistently for years. And people think it's just, they see you, they think it's easy. No, it's work. The one advantage I had was I was financially stable. I had decent investment and portfolio, so I didn't go through the much financial challenge that I had. It was a smoother transition for me because I made sure I built enough financial backing to take care of my bills for a couple of months, and then I just segue in. And that really helped me out. Lesson I've learned. You learn lesson every single day as an entrepreneur. You never stop learning. The one thing I learned from the start is put a value to you, to yourself. Doesn't matter what anybody say. This is my price, this is what I'm charging. For you, I can give you this discount rate. You have to always show them what your price is and let them decide. And how did I come about what my price is? I called every company you could think about in the US. In DC, the federal government, I look for all the price of every service category that I want to offer. What is the going rate out there in the whole US? What's the going rate out there in DC, in Virginia? What's the average rate? What is the government charge? What's the small business charge? And that way, I kind of see what kind of service they're following. I will go into big business firm and read their whole profile. Go to almost all the executive LinkedIn profile and read. That's what I do. I follow nonstop. My wife was thinking, what is this guy doing? I'm in the bathroom with my phone. I roll over at night, in the morning, constantly. And that helped me so much because I kind of see how business build their service, how they offer the service, and different things that they do. The other thing I learned is never make a decision based on finance alone. Because I'm an engineer, I was trained to build a solution, solve a problem. So now, I never look at money. Am I solving the problem? Am I helping someone? What am I doing? When I build that, then what will be my cost for that? When you look at money, you miss the whole point. So that has helped me also too in my path. Education, education, education. I was telling someone out there earlier, I remember traveling for conference and seminars to New York. So what I'll do is at midnight, I will shower, wear my suit, drive to the train station, take a bus from DC to New York, get there at 7 a.m. in the morning, go to the restroom, wash my face, brush my teeth, go into the conference from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 5 p.m. Get back, the train station is right there, the bus, I'll take that, come back home, get home around 1, 2 a.m. I'm taking time off from work, but I'm going for hands-on physical training. I'm going for seminars. I do webinars. Even during COVID, never stop. I do at least 3 to 5 webinars online every month. I'm always learning. I'll sign up, I'll register. When I log in and it's not productive for me, then I'll just log off and leave. But I always make sure I register because you always never stop learning. I'll find out this event is coming the next day. I will cancel our plan, book my last minute flight. I will drive myself to the airport, park my car right there, go right into the plane, fly in, get there early morning, come back the same day. I've invested so much money and time because I know what awaits me in the future. So always think about education. And now there's so much free resources online that can help you. Learn from the past. When I started, I didn't know what my rate was. So I would just say, okay, I'll do it for you. I didn't have a clear contract being signed. I didn't have a clear direction. I was shortchanging myself. I'll give a different rate because I want to win that project, that contract. And when I got in, I realized I was spending so much of my time and money, it wasn't worth it. And the way I was billing my price, looking for price, and sourcing was not the right way. So I learned from that, and that helped me tremendously. God influence. I put that scripture there because that has really helped me out. Luke 2:49. When I was looking for God, Jesus Christ, where is he? Couldn't find him for 3 days, right? We all remember that verse. What did he say? I'm about my Father's business. I've been in this church for 9 years. I've always been about my Father's business. No one can see me and say, where are you? We haven't seen you for long. That really helped me. It's not what people see, it's what you do. I made a tough decision to say, God, I want to serve you first. Everything else follow. I turned down jobs. I turned down opportunities that I know will push me away. I used to travel all over the U.S. I've been to 35 states traveling for my job free of charge back in the days. And it took me away from my comfort zone. And when I say, nope, I still travel, but at my own time and how I wanted to plan. So by choosing to serve God first, he made everything else easier for me. He put people in place. He made things happen for me. Doors open. I'm doing a contract right now that I didn't apply for. I don't know how they got my information. They called someone, and the guy said, oh, I can't do that job, but this guy can do it. They called someone else and said, I don't have that skill, but he have that skill. So it's a multidisciplinary skill that you need to have. And I was able to secure that contract, and last year during COVID, while everything was still shutting down, I renegotiated and got a 35% increase on my contract. There is nothing but God in that. I can speak on and on about things that have happened. I did one contract where I literally walked into the building where they print currency, the U.S. Bureau of Printing and Engraving in Fort Worth, Texas. I went there 10 times in 1 year. They print currency in that building. I don't have a clearance. I did public trust, but they allowed me access because I was the one running that project to go in the building and design the solution that was needed for that. Without a clearance, had access to sensitive data that you wonder, like, why are they giving this guy that kind of access to those kind of data? But those are the kind of things God have done for me. And that's why I always try. I tell my wife, I say, the one prayer I need from you is to pray that I remain in the word of God. I keep on serving. Let the fire, the zeal to serve him never dies. It's not what anybody sees, but in your heart, in your daily habit, behind closed doors. And that's the only prayer I really want because it has worked wonders and magic for me. So, recommendation. Someone spoke about mentorship. When I started my business, I was an engineering manager at a company. So I was directly working with the government direct. I decided when to build the subcontractors, when to pay them, and when we should build the government. So I deal directly with the contracting officer. So I knew the full spectrum. I started off from being a field guy to a project manager to an engineering manager. So I had a bit of financial leverage and a bit of skill knowledge. So it was an easy transition for me. But I wanted to make sure that I was going down the right path. So the US have a program called SCORE. SCORE is a counseling program where they will pair you closely, depending on what field you're in, they will pair you closely with a mentor in that field that has experience. And they will sit you down and see, where are you in your career, in your business? Where do you want to go? And what you need to get there. When I got there, the lady was so impressed. She actually signed a partnership agreement with me because I was so far off in what I was doing, the website, the information I had. I took almost every information from what I had from the government and I kept all those documents. So I was fully well informed of what I wanted to do and the direction I wanted to take. So SCORE is a great resource. You can see the website below, score.org. It's for the whole US. So you can find one closer to you. Because we're in PG County, I kept the link for PG County there. It's a great resource. They have training, they have workshop. If you're not sure what you want to do, if you're in business, you're in a standstill, or you think you're doing well, it's always good to have mentorship just to look over your stuff. I was in a business meeting yesterday from 3 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. last night, working session. I'm doing decent in my business, but I still want to reevaluate myself. Where am I? Is my website good? Is my business strategy good? How am I winning new opportunity? How am I maintaining my current contract and making sure those are well secure? How do I renew my contract effectively? So I sat down half of my day yesterday doing that. And that is what a mentor does for you. And you really cannot buy that. I've been given information and access to documents that money cannot buy, and it's just God. So use that. That's a great resource for anyone that needs that information. The final slide is eMarketplace Maryland. If you're in business, actually, if you're an individual, you don't have to have a registered business. You can go out there and look for opportunities that the state, the county are looking for. Website development, hosting, supplying food, supplying pencils. And those state what the requirement need to be. You can be an individual, you could be a business, you could be, they have different requirements, but I've seen individuals win contract up to $100,000. So check it out. It could be a side gig that turns into something big. The final one is finance. For some reason, I didn't study finance, but I'm very huge on finance. It's actually a big part of my life and why I love. So what I do is I trace the money. I look at what the federal government sends their budget and where that money goes under the IT in different state and different county. So I see that money pipeline come all the way down and see what services each county and cities are offering. And I anticipate when the next contract is going to be out and try to bid and prepare my proposals for that. But this website is a great resource because it tells you about tax bracket, which some of us have to worry about if you have different kind of portfolio. It tells you about how you can get loans, venture capital, and the big one is grants. I know every grant in the state of Maryland. The only issue is because of the kind of business that I do, I don't qualify for those business. So what the state look for is they look for a need, a place that is underserved. And you have to go in there. It's a huge information there. And you look and see, okay, what services are they offering? Does it align with what I'm doing? Or do I have an interest in this? And you could actually get grant up to $250,000 first round. Second round is up to $500,000. And third round is up to $1.3 million. And this is based off your idea, not even actually your product or your solution. Just your idea alone, they can fund you this money. But you have to go through those steps to make sure you get that. It's not easy, but every year I see about 30 companies get selected, and individuals also get selected into that. It's a lot of work you got to put in, but the opportunity is there for you to use that. Unfortunately, there's other information there. I cannot be reached or accessed after today because of my time. A lot of people have been asking for information, and they didn't show up today, and they will come on Monday and keep asking me they want more information. If you can catch me within the weekdays or in passing, I will try to offer some help to you because I've been blessed with information. There's a lot of stuff out there. Please take your time, look at it. I've seen lives change through this information that I'm sharing right here. The grant is huge. I mean, I've seen people who want to start a business and they get to a point, an investor comes in and put a stake in your idea. I mean, think about that. You get almost $1.5 million just for your idea without the product. And I've seen that happen. So please look on that slide. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Again, thank you to the Youth Alive Fellowship leadership for for hosting such an awesome event. This is just such a rare privilege. We've had, this is the third one now, and I'm very happy to be speaking to you all today about what I do. Anytime I get the privilege to share what I do for a living, it excites me, and thank you again for the opportunity. Now we're talking about entrepreneurship. we are talking about, starting your own business. So I believe that, some of us here that have 9 to 5s, we are maybe thinking about transitioning into entrepreneurship or maybe having your own business. So what I'm going to be sharing with us for the next few minutes, I have a very short presentation, but what I'll be sharing with us for the next few minutes is just my own personal journey into entrepreneurship. As I transition, I'm still in the midst of transitioning from my 9 to 5 and as a working professional into being a full-time entrepreneur. So I just want to share a little bit of that journey with you guys, and also to introduce you to the field of instructional design. I don't think this is something that a lot of people know about, so I want to kind of just introduce you and shed some light on what instructional design is all about. So just to share with you a little bit about myself, I am a senior instructional designer and e-learning developer. I actually work within the life science industry, the regulated life science industry, for one of the world's largest science and biotechnology companies. You may have heard of Merck Group. The headquarters is located in Darmstadt, Germany. The company has been around for a very long time. The company has the company has been around for over 350 years. It's actually one of the oldest science companies out there. And I work with them as an instructional designer and a corporate trainer. The company has 77,000 plus employees. And so what I do for the company as instructional designer and trainer, part of my responsibility also involves learning management, managing the learning management system and so on and so forth. So I've been doing this work for the past 10 years, but I've been within this regulated industry for the past 16 years. Hope that makes sense. So I'll be talking to us today about exactly what I do. So instructional design really it's the practice of using adult learning principles, adult learning methods to assess the need for training in an organization. You all agree with me that every organization needs to train its employees, right? So what instructional designers do is that we go in to assess what trainings are needed, what training programs need to be implemented. So we assess the need at an organizational level. We also assess the need at an individual learner's level as well. In other words, we try to find out what do the employees need to learn about these individual topics that we are trying to put in place. So once we get an understanding of the training need, we then go in to design a training program and to develop or create the training program that gets implemented and deployed to the employees. And those trainings can be in different forms. Of course, with the pandemic now, a lot of our training programs are now digital. They are online trainings. So we do things like e-learning development. We do things like virtual instructor-led training programs. We still do in-person trainings as well. But of course, with the pandemic, most of our training programs are now online. So in a nutshell, that is what instructional design and e-learning development is all about. So the responsibilities of an instructional designer really includes collaborating with stakeholders. In other words, collaborating with the senior leaders within the organization to try to figure out, okay, based on where the company is headed, what trainings do we need to put in place to help the company achieve its business objectives? So that is part of the things that we do. And we also work with subject matter experts as well. So imagine if I need to create a training program, if I need to design or develop a training program for the organization, I am not a know-it-all. I don't know it all. And I may have to design or develop a training program on something that I know absolutely nothing about. So I have to work with the subject matter experts on that topic to put that training together. And so in a nutshell, that is really what we do. And we also identify the appropriate learning approach that needs to be taken as well. So all of these things add value to the organization, because most of the performance problems that organizations face is often as a result of a lack of knowledge or a lack of skills. All right, and so that's what an instructional designer does, and that's what I do for a living. So instructional designers, you will mostly find them working within the learning and development department. How many of you have a learning and development department in your organization? You have a training department? That's great. So that's where you will find instructional designers working. We are always in the learning and development or in the training function. So that's just a little bit about my 9 to 5. Like I said, I've been doing this particular work for the past 10 years within this industry that I've been working in for the last 16 years. So now let me talk to you about my entrepreneurship journey. So a little over a year ago, I started my entrepreneurship journey. In other words, I decided, I want to start something. I want to start my own business. All right. And what I do as an entrepreneur is that I provide course creation services for people. So I have individuals, entrepreneurs, business owners, consultants, freelancers, coaches that say, you know what, okay, well, with the pandemic, I need to have an online presence, I need to have an online school, I need to have an online academy, but I don't know how to go about putting that together. And so they come to someone like myself, and I just guide them into establishing that online presence and having that online school. So I provide training and coaching as well. So the main areas of focus is not just for businesses that want to have online courses, but I also help individuals that want to pursue a career in corporate instructional design. So if you are interested in getting into the corporate space to work as an instructional designer or an e-learning developer, that is another area of focus for my business. So I do coaching, corporate instructional design coaching, online course launch coach, as well as I help businesses to set up their online courses. So that is my entrepreneurship journey, and like I said, I've been doing this for a little over a year just on my own. And I want to now tell you the reason why I decided, or what influenced my decision to become an entrepreneur. What influenced my decision to become an entrepreneur? And the very simple reason is the opportunity to help more people. I discovered that within my organization, I only have a limited number of people that I'm able to reach, that my work is able to reach. And I discovered that, much more people need help with setting up online courses. They need help with getting into the industry. And so I decided that I'm going to actually take advantage of that and make myself available as a resource to help them get into the field, and also help them to accomplish what they would like to accomplish, whether that be having their own online course, or whether that be trying to get into the industry to work as an instructional designer. So the lesson that I would like us to take from that is that you have to be driven by purpose. All right? I mean, we've probably heard that from the previous speakers as well. Let purpose be what drives you. All right? Don't let money be what drives you. All right? Money is good, and the money will come. One of the number one reason why I decided, like I said, the number one reason why I decided to start my entrepreneurship journey doing this is because over the years, I've gained a lot of knowledge. I've gained a lot of skills that, I believe a lot of people need, especially now with the pandemic. The consumption of online learning and online courses has increased drastically. And in case you don't know, the e-learning industry is projected to be by 2025, it's projected to be a $325 billion market. $325 billion. And that is, distributed in many different areas. You've probably seen, if you're on social media, you might have seen a lot of people trying to sell you an online course. They're trying to sell you, they're trying to teach you something. All right, so they are trying to get some of that market share as well, right? You may have seen ads for new online course platforms. All right, a lot of new online course platforms are now coming out. They're also trying to get some of that market share as well. So it's a really, really big industry. And I think the pandemic has just really opened our eyes to the possibilities out there. So, and anyone can have an online course. How many of you know anything about anything? You know anything about anything? Good. If you know something about anything, you can have your own online course. You can teach something. Maybe people have been coming to you and say, Brother, he knows so much about career. He knows everything about, public speaking, right? Brother can decide to have his own online course or his own online academy, where anyone that wants to learn from him, instead of them calling him on the phone to say, can you give me advice? Can you teach me this? He can direct them to his online course where they can pay for it, and Brother is making money while he's helping someone to gain the knowledge and the skills that they need. All right? So that's really what that is about. Now, some of the lessons that I've learned in trying to balance my work life and my entrepreneurship life is, the first thing really is you have to prove your business model, right? You may have an idea to start a business. Whatever that business may look like, make sure it's proven. I put that scripture there, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. It says, prove all things. In other words, test all things. Make sure it works. Don't just get up and quit your 9 to 5. All right. I did that once many years ago. I did it, and for the next 7 months I suffered. In fact, it actually led to my eviction. This was many years ago. All right. So please prove all things. If you have a business idea, prove it. Make sure that it works. Make sure that you can make you money before and stay in it for a while. Stay in it for a while. When you hear the pastor talking and they are telling you, God has been putting that idea on your mind. You need to step out. You need to launch out. They are not telling you to quit your job. They are not telling you to quit your job. They are just telling you start. Start. All right? So that's the number one thing. And then we've heard this, by previous coaches as well. Invest in learning. Get a coach. Get a coach. I've had to spend a lot of money on online course creation just to learn and to continue to improve my skills as well. So invest in learning and find a supportive community. That's very important. Find a community of people doing the same thing that you are trying to do, and just stay in that community. Learn from there and develop yourself from there as well. And like I said before, don't make a sudden jump. Don't suddenly quit your job. Amen. All right. Now also be patient and appreciate the little beginnings. Appreciate the little beginnings. Everything that looks big today started small. All right. So appreciate your business. Your entrepreneurship journey will start very small. But as you stay consistent, as you stay disciplined, as you keep at it, it will continue to grow. And before you know it, you become a global entity. You become a global person. And I pray that will be our testimony in Jesus' name. And also be organized and plan yourself very well. Be organized. I have to stay organized because with all of the priorities at work and then what the demands of the business itself, I have to try to organize myself so that I can make sure that things don't fall out of place. What are some of the challenges that I faced? Trying to juggle the demands of work life, business life. It can be a little bit tough at times, and also multiple competing priorities. that always tends to get in the way. But I pray that God will give us wisdom on how to navigate this in Jesus' name. Now, also, not every activity you do as an entrepreneur will make you money. In fact, there are certain things that you would have to do that would not directly earn you income, but you still have to do it. For example, if you have to create content online, you have to create content. It takes time. It takes time to create content. It takes time to edit your content. It takes time to put it out there as an entrepreneur, but you have to, so that it would create awareness of what you do. It will position you as a thought leader on that particular subject, and people will get to start, knowing more about you. And so those activities that don't necessarily make you money, you still have to take them very, very seriously. All right? Now, how has God been a key part of this? Psalm 127 verse 1 says, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. If you don't get God involved in what you are doing, it cannot work. It cannot work. And so I made a decision right from the beginning. Lord, this is your thing. You are the one that gave me the idea. You are the one that's going to help me push it through. Amen. And that's the mindset that we need to have concerning our business, concerning our entrepreneurship journey. So divine direction I thank God for divine direction in my business. It's one thing that I celebrate, because God always leads me and directs me on the next thing to do. So divine direction, and then divine favor and grace. God has really helped me. I've had a number of training workshops, webinars. I have a few students. I have some clients that I'm even working with right now that are trying to establish their training platform online. They've been doing a little bit here and there online, but now they really want to get serious about putting some solid structure in place with digital learning and digital marketing infrastructures put together. So that is what I help them with. And also divine ideas is another thing as well. So with all that being said, if you would like to get in touch with me, that is my website, that's my phone number, that's my email address. Please feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have concerning everything that I've spoken to you about today. So thank you so much again for your time, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. You know how we do it. If someone is here and they have an online presence and we can go show up at their stand, we are going to do this. Go on there. Don't call him at 12 midnight, please. I know he just said it now. Be organized. He's gonna work. Don't do this. Go on the website, utilize the materials on there, and don't call him at night. Thank you so much. So we do have, who knows the largest growing industry? It's on every advert. When you watch YouTube, someone is talking about it. Who knows? $50, $100. No, I already told you before. Everybody is talking about real estate. But the most confusing part about it is, if all of us go and buy property, who will live inside? Someone said, but right now we have someone who is coming to talk to us about one of the fastest growing industry, from the Bill Gates to the Warren Buffett, something. Clap, clap. She's the final speaker for today. We can do better than that. We give you coffee and juice. Clap. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. It is a privilege to be up here. Thank you. It is a privilege to be here. I do appreciate the youth leadership, and I also want us to give it up for this team. They're an A team. If you go out there, look at what they've done. I mean, this is amazing. Let's give it up together for them. Thank you. We really appreciate you. My name is Flourish Adetoye is my middle name. I am Annie Barber, but that's how I'm being called in the professional world. And I just wanted to talk about real estate. One of my mentors said, real estate is the purest form of entrepreneurship. Real estate is something you work on and you can just go have fun and money just keep coming into your bank account like chim, 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 chim. I come from the IT background. I was working with the government before now. And when we started having kids, I remembered my first son. After 8 weeks, I had to go drop him at the babysitter. And it was during winter. I was like, gosh, what is this? You know, from that point, it started dawning on me that, you know, I need to take the horn by the bull by itself, you know, and, you know, do things for myself because I've always been a business person. So at some point, the contract at which we were working on ended, and it now became so kind of challenging finding a job. And before that, I had gone to real estate school. I love real estate right from when I was a child. And, you know, that was how I started real estate. I left every other thing. I left my 9 to 5. I left the money coming in, and it's like, are you really sure this is the right thing to do? But one of the things that made me take the decision was that we were always behind the scenes. You know, the managers go out there, they go get the project, they go bid on the contracts, they get the contracts and just come and dump it on you guys. You guys code, you know, do all of the work. And the fact that I don't interface with customer, that became so depressing to me. You know, you just go in there every day, day in, day out. And at some point, I'm like, I can't do this anymore because I wasn't really enjoying it anymore. Once it was like 5 o'clock, I'm ready to leave work. And I'm like, I can't continue. So one of the things that we need to know as entrepreneurs is that you need to enjoy what you do. If you don't enjoy it, then something is wrong somewhere. You need to, like, you're sleeping and somebody wakes you up, you're ready to go. You really enjoy doing it. So that was what took me into real estate. And I just talked about my experience. So in real estate, we have different sectors. We have the residential, we have commercial, and we have the property management, you know, property portfolio. And the residential is what most of us know, you buy your house and that's it. But we have the commercial aspect, like where the church is right now is a commercial property. And it's a lot that the church is paying. So imagine different individuals own this kind of assets and the kind of money that it's coming in, day out, day in, day out. Even though the church does not make money, that's none of their business. At the end of the month, they get paid. That is the power of real estate. And after all that we have done, with real estate, you can have residual income. At some point, that energy to keep working, I mean, when you're 80, when you're 85, if you have your portfolio, all you just need to do is, enjoy life, and money is coming. And, you know, that was one of those things that really triggered me. I'm like, okay, I can do this. And that was what really motivated me, and I went into that. The property management and portfolio, that is where you see people like Warren Buffett, you see people like Grant Cardone, you see all these big people. Like one of my mentors, he has like 10,000 units. Like most of these big apartments, they are owned by individuals, not like owned by an individual. And you're there in a month, you're making billions of dollars. People are coming in, they are paying, people are living in your apartment, they are paying you. That is the power of real estate. One of my, I've spoken about the consideration why I went into it. I just wanted to round it up. So the lessons I've learned also is the power of mentorship. Everyone that has come up here has said it, the power of mentorship. You need a mentor. You can't be an island. I don't care the discipline that you are in, you need a mentor. A mentor is very, very crucial. And always invest in yourself. With real estate, at times there are courses, there are seminars that you have to do that cost up to about 25,000 and all of that. You know, you just need, for you to get better, for you to get that information, those vital information that you need, you really need to invest in yourself. Keep learning, keep abreast with current trends. You know, Pastor Bakari just left now and he was talking about online presence. All of that is what we require for you to keep, you know, making progress in real estate. You can't just sit down there and say, oh, I'm in real estate and nobody knows you. I mean, if you're talking about real estate, by the time you call 1, 2 names, you know that, yes, these are the fathers of real estate. So you need to keep up with the current trend. So one of the challenges is at times you might get rejected. If you get rejected, just dust yourself up, you know, and continue. When you start, people might not, you know, they might not patronize you. They might like, oh, I know you. I'm not sure you can take care of my real estate need. Things like that will come up, but just, you know, keep pressing. And at times, even your friends and your family, they might like, excuse me, when did you start real estate? But just keep at it. And in the industry, you need to have a broker under you. So one of the challenges that we had in the past is that keeping all of your commission. But we have brokerages now that you get your 100% commission. I remember the first brokerage that I was at, I sold this property and I was supposed to get a commission of 15,000 and my broker took 40% out of it. By the time I got it, I was so upset. I'm like, come on, how can you take 40% out of, you know, that kind of huge amount of money? But we have brokerages that are coming up now that you get your 100% commission. So with real estate, you don't really require a degree. All you just need to do is 60 hours of pre-licensing. You pass your state board, and you get a broker that you can work with. And after that, you just apply for your real estate license. And once you do that, I mean, you're good to go. It doesn't require you going to college. All you just need to do is find one of those real estate schools. You do your 60 hours, and that's it. I mean, with real estate, you can determine your income. I know people that make $1 million in a month. In 1 month, just off of selling real estate, they make $1 million. Like for me, we are just at half of the year, you know, in the middle of the year, and what I've made in the middle of the year is more than what I'll make for the entire year when I was in the IT field. So you can, it depends on how much you can work. So you determine your commission, you determine your wages, you determine how you want your money to be. You can use real estate as an investment vehicle to generate income, appreciation, and tax benefits. So one of those things, if you hear, oh, Trump did not pay his taxes and all of this stuff is because of all those tax loopholes. You know, with real estate, you can do that. You write things off, you make your money. You're 9 to 5 before you get your money, before you get your salary, they've already taken out the taxes. But with real estate, you can write things off. I have a house that we're working on right now, and the house was built in 1920, but up till now, imagine if it's a car, you can't drive a car of 1920 now. You know, the house was built in 1920, but up till now, we are working on the house to make it a rental property, and at the same time, you know, the depreciation, you still go back to the government during taxes, you're able to write all of those stuff out. So real estate is a very good vehicle for you to not just, you know, enjoy life now, but life after. You know, you think about retirement later, it's a very good vehicle for you to retire. And I don't want to take much of our time. Last, you can reach me, that's my cell phone number, my website, and my email. Anyone interested, you can, if not just selling real estate, if you want to invest, if you want to partner, I'm here. You can reach out to me anytime. And thank you for your time, everyone. God bless you.
For attending this year 3.0 tune-up. It's been an amazing career fair. God bless you.